India and South Asia. She is associated as the master trainer with Tamil Nadu government EDI IEDP. Currently, as co-founder of TEAL, Ms. Sujaya mentors high school and college students to be career aware and career ready through short and long term preparation programs based on ACL curriculum, assessments, and individual interactions. Ms. Sujaya is certified by Stanford University's Entrepreneurship Educator course, a London Business School's Tool for Growth Mentor program, and has done a PG diploma in Human Resource Management and Industrial Psychology from IIT Madras. She is a recipient of the Top 100 Leader in Education Award 2019 from the Global Forum of Education and Learning (GFEL). So it's such an honor to have you as our speaker to the session, ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am. And
Thank you so
happy
much.
Wednesday to you and to all the participants.
Yes, thank you so much. And
Thank you,
it's
Harish.
always
Thank you.
a pleasure to be here. So we'll get started, sir?
Please, madam, please.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
you
We are
can
very
take over, ma'am.
Oh,
much eagerly
true.
waiting for your activity-based session because
So
our student and our institution students also very much happy to see you and how to get idea because they want this is a major portion initiated by IIC. Thank you.
It's good initiatives coming up these days. One, because our country needs more entrepreneurs. So, a happy morning to all of you. And this session, let me tell you, don't expect me to be a typical, you know, on a teacher mode. Nigavanda, all of you can feel free to have interactions, discussions. Let it be a forum where you are, learning at the same time you are expressing your own opinions. Okay. Ideation, idea generation, design thinking is a beautiful topic because if you look at all the big organizations, whether it is Google, whether it is Wipro, whether it is Infosys, whether it is Apple, whether it is, IBM, at every level, even here, being established organizations and corporates, still now, that is, even now, at every stage of building the business or the organization, ideation, innovation, design thinking is very, very important. Okay. So the first thing that I will suggest to all of you is please feel free to unmute and speak. If you feel comfortable in interacting in Tamil, please do that. Neenga vanda Tamil la pesla, I'm going to use slow English. So if there is something that you're not able to understand, stop me and ask me again. Okay. At the same time, let us have fun. Think of different ideas when I ask you questions. Please respond. Don't be worried about whether it is right or wrong. In entrepreneurship, opinion, your own understanding is important. Nothing is right or wrong. Your idea can always, be improvised, innovated on to make it work. Okay. So the first thing that I would like to do, let me share my screen. I'm going to show you one picture. So, and you can generate plenty of ideas from this. Let me just share my screen. And
Visible, madam. Please put into slideshow. Great. Thank you.
right. So here you're looking at this picture. All right. And you know what the problem is. What is the problem? Let us talk about what the problem is. If anyone is putting it on the chat, then please let me know because I have shared my entire screen. I don't know what's happening on the chat.
Okay, madam. Okay. Arish?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
So what do you see as the big problem out here? Come on, we all know how our own city is, and we know this is a major problem.
Ma'am, usage of
Yes,
plastics.
usage of plastics is a big problem. So, what do you see happening because of this? What do you see happening because of this? Usage of plastic is completely right. The more you use and the more you throw it away like this, what is happening? What are the various problems you're seeing?
Ma'am, it will
Ma'am,
not
it's an
degrade.
environmental water pollution, ma'am,
Yes, water pollution. Yes, very good.
and
Then,
it may cause a non-biodegradable, ma'am, and it is not easy
no,
to degradable, ma'am. It may take a
absolutely.
1,000 years to degradable, ma'am.
1,000 years and more. And what are we seeing? Then what? How does it, end up affecting a lot of other things? What you're saying is right. Now let's look at the problems one by one. Non biodegradable is what you said, right? And then you said use of plastic. Water is contaminated. One. Okay. The first problem is water contamination. What else happens as it slowly starts, getting
It
more and
slowly
more
started
into
as
the
a
water?
poisons, ma'am,
So toxins
and
and
it is a
poison.
toxic poisons to our environment to our health, ma'am.
See the amount of problems when we, without any, you know, thought, just have take during our conferences, everyday life, when we're traveling, when we're going out, just pick up a bottle, drink, and then throw it away. Years and years and years about this collection of this particular plastic has led to so many problems. And if you see what is happening in the world now globally, whether it is UN, whether it is, political leaders coming together to sign treaties, what is happening? Okay, what is happening? The whole problem is plastic. Now they want to try to bring out policies, put up regulations against plastic, right? Usage of single use plastic. Now, the terminology currently all over the world is something called circular economy. We are talking about sustainable development goals, which means whatever we are using, we have come to a position, we have come to a situation where whatever we are using needs to be recycled. Otherwise, we are in big soup like this, terrible soup. Okay. Now, I am going to share a link on the chat for all of you. Let me just stop sharing this and can all of you see this?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay, look at the picture and generate ideas. Now let me put one. Whoever is shy to speak, okay? All of you now click on that link and put your ideas as to how will you reduce this problem, how will you eradicate, try to do something to eradicate this problem. Whoever wants to unmute and speak, most welcome. Whoever is shy, type in, click on the link that I have put on the chat and present your ideas. Generate as many ideas as possible. Do that. I want to see some answers come up on the screen. Click on the link and put your ideas. How will you reduce plastic? How will you reduce this problem? Come on, all of you are bright kids. All of you have ideas. Unless you come out and speak in forums like this, Don't expect to, go ahead later. I can do it when I want to. No, these are opportunities for you to speak. Very good. Alternate packaging using traditional ideas. Ban it. If you ban it, what is the alternative? Let's speak about what are the alternatives. Replace plastic bottles with glass bottles. Okay. It can be reduced by carrying paper bags. Absolutely. Wonderful. More ideas. More ideas. Avoid using plastic water bottles. Absolutely. If you're avoiding to use, these plastic water bottles, how else can you use, how else can you carry water around? Think of it. Very exciting and interesting. Somebody has already done a lot of work around it. It'll be interesting to share the details. Minimizing the usage of plastic materials by initiating with alternate products like paper bags, paper made materials, and more. Excellent. We are coming to the solution. Recycle, reduce, reuse. Wonderful. We use plastic to put road. It is okay. 10x more stronger than normal road we put. Okay. And now common knowledge. More usage of such roads. Yes, more usage of such roads, which means this thought process of yours about plastic roads, whatever is being material is being put to kind of put roads, lay roads. It is very important for this knowledge to be there everywhere. Till now, even leave alone, the cities that we are living in. If you look at remote places, till now we have yet to ensure that good infrastructure is available. Roads have to be laid. So there is so much work to be done, even in our own country. Instead of plastic bags, use cloth bags. Excellent. Recycle the plastic waste. All of you are giving this kind of a great idea. All right, so let's look at plastic bags should be reduced by using cotton bags. Fill the sand and stones in the water bottles and to build the houses. Okay, follow conventional methods by using nature. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, and whoever's ideas are not there, you can talk about it or you can put it on the chat. So see how much when you ask a question like this, how easily, right, you are coming up with different kinds of answers. Now, all of you like listening to stories, isn't it? So I'm going to tell you a nice story now, a real story. Some of you will already be knowing about this particular organization, but let me tell you why I am telling this story, because it clubs ideation and design thinking. All right. So let me first talk a little bit about ideation. Now you have generated ideas. All right. So ideation is a very creative process of, you look at problems around you, everyday problems around you, the place where you are sitting itself. You just look around, where you're sitting, look at some products or some things, right? And then you come up with if only leads to a lot of ideation. If only this were different, if only I could use this, if someone had fitted something else into this product, right, it will be better used. That is how you look at problems. That is how you look at innovation. That is creativity. All right. So the creative process of generating, developing, and communicating new ideas, where ideas understood basic element of thought. So it can be visual. You're imagining things, right? You're coming up with solutions. So your visualization, your thought process, your artistic, thoughts, or very abstract thoughts. We had done this entire ideation exercise years back. And that time we used to ask the students, when you were in classroom, when it was all offline, right? Used to come and ask the students, talk about, crazy ideas, abstract ideas. Okay. And then they would come out with, man, we would, set up something on the moon. we would set up something in another planet. That time, 10 years back, 15 years back, nobody thought that it is doable. Today, and then what we used to do was try to give that idea to some other team to think differently and say, make this crazy idea into a doable idea, make it a business idea. Today, as we sit back and think, look at what Elon Musk is doing. Travel to space, wanting to set up, stuff in some other planet, right? Travel to space. Today, people, because of the pandemic, because of what is happening in the world, people want to buy, people want to invest in planets beyond. All kinds of crazy things are happening. People want to leave Earth and want to settle the rest of the life somewhere else. So when you're looking at what is happening around you, you just sit back and you try to generate ideas, which means you are looking at a problem, you're visualizing some kind of solution, you're prioritizing on what can really help you solve that problem. Okay? So it includes creativity. Now, innovation, creativity, all these are terms that you hear on a daily basis. Right? The manner in which you produce unusual ideas, uniqueness. Why do startups, succeed? Why do businesses fail? Okay. When you start up, always remember the uniqueness of the idea, the way in which you are completely different is what is going to make you stand apart. Right? How will you create that value in someone's life? Now you all were talking about this plastic waste. How am I going to reduce it? Think very practically. Think of someone getting into a shop. All right. So at end of the purchase, you're given a nice cloth, colorful bag. You feel so happy because now that is also a product with you. If you were coming back with a plastic bag, somehow you will empty all the provisions and everything, and then you will either keep the plastic bag for some time or you'll dump it in the dustbin. Cloth bag, somehow you will preserve it because every day now and then you will use it for different purposes, right? So someone has thought about it. That cloth bag again would have been, created using all the waste material from people who have textiles, right? I'm currently working with a lot of students who are into social initiatives. There is one person in Erode who said that I want to start a social initiative. We have a textile, mill, and all so much of waste cloth is there. So we want to create bags and give it off to shops. So what is happening? You're not wasting anything. Again, you're recycling the whole thing. So again, the act of turning new imaginative ideas into reality is not just about thinking. It's about doing. And that's a very, very important aspect of design thinking. All right. So creativity involves two things. One is thinking and then producing. So you first visualize, you think, you create in your mind, and then you push it into reality by slowly working out your product, your service, whatever you want to create, by trying to understand what the world around you actually requires. Okay. So there are a lot of idea generation techniques, and we'll come one by one when we discuss this. Okay. Brainstorming. What do you think brainstorming is all about? What do you think brainstorming is? Anyone writing on the chat? Kindly let me know what the comments are.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you. What is brainstorming? Very simple. Now only we finished brainstorming. I showed you a picture and we did brainstorming. So what is it? You look at a problem and then unmute and speak. All of you have wonderful, beautiful voices. Speak. There's nothing right or wrong. Be comfortable about sharing your thoughts.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, it is
confusions in
about an
our brain, ma'am.
ideology, ma'am.
Okay, one by one, one by one.
It is an ideology, ma'am.
Okay, yes, ideology, whatever you feel needs to happen. Okay, someone else was saying something.
Ma'am, confusions in the brain, ma'am.
Confusions in your brain about, see, that's the beauty of it. I'm glad you brought it up. Okay, now there's a lot of confusion in the brain as to, am I going to, is this right? Is this idea correct to solve the problem? Am I thinking the right way? Is there any way in which I can decide whether this is the right kind of solution or not? Okay, when you're doing this, the entire process of design thinking is what is going to help you end up realizing and taking away the confusion, realizing what is right, what is best for the different customers, and then work towards picking the right solution for the problem that you're seeing around. So brainstorming right now is all about, okay, so different techniques. Let me tell you, brainstorming, mind mapping will come one by one, storyboarding, visualization, and all of that. Okay. And this is what you did right now. So everybody, now all of you are coming from different backgrounds. All right. And all I did was put a picture out there and say, okay, now you talk about different ideas. How will you solve this problem? And all of you put your different collective ideas. That is brainstorming. Collectively bringing in as many ideas as possible, because though you are in different, your own homes, okay, but all the collection is happening on one platform to help us understand these are the various ideas and these are the various solutions that is possible. So teamwork out here. If you're working for an organization, the next level of growth, all right, what do we do? For instance, a typical example, you all of you young people getting into a coffee shop, right? You have your coffee. Now you're looking at the coffee shop. They sell only specific products. Okay. Now there is another coffee shop which has come, a new joint, a little better than that. They're serving some additional menu items. All right. So slowly some of the customers are going there to experience what they have. Now, this particular coffee shop, which you have been visiting, for many months now, needs to do something to ensure that they sustain their own business and sustain the customers. So, what do? Brainstorm. What do they think? Apart from what we are offering right now, what will, we provide to all our customers, create value so that we do not lose out on our competitors. So brainstorming, generating ideas every now and then is very important. You look at all these giants, you look at telecommunications, you look at Geo on one side, Airtel on another side, you look at, ACT on the other side. Everybody has their own set of customers, and everybody now and then, no, what can we do? What kind of offers can we give? What kind of discounts can we give? How do we sustain our customers? What kind of plan can we generate? Right? This is nothing but trying to capture and retain and sustain the business and the market. So at every level of your, business growth, or every level of whatever you're contributing to in an organization, brainstorming and trying to generate. Here it is not about getting it right or wrong. Please understand. When it comes to an ideation stage, it is not about trying to figure out whether the idea or whether the solution for the problem is pakka right or wrong. No, it's about it's all about quantity. It's not about quality as yet. Quality will come from design thinking. Okay. So when you are, always remember, thumb rule, when you are generating ideas in whichever manner possible, right, collect as many ideas as possible so that you have collective thought process of people who have thought of ways in which to solve problems. Okay. Let's look at mind mapping. Now, she said, I'm confused in my thoughts. There's a lot of confusion. So, how do you bring clarity in that confused state of mind when you're looking at a problem and wanting to solve a problem? Mind mapping is a very beautiful tool. All of you can even use this tool even if you want for your own subjects. If you want, confused about a topic, if you want to retain concepts when you're studying, you can mind map and you can remember it much better, because when you look at things, some of you, will be good with visualization, looking at videos and learning, whatever it is, right? It's a very, very beautiful tool. Now, when it comes to mind, when it comes to our brain, there is a side which is very logical and which is very organized. Okay. There is another side which is very artistic. So some of us will use our left brain or the right brain accordingly. But all of us have, portions of it on both sides. So what do we have to do? Bring it all together. So suppose the topic for ideation is COVID-19. I put it because it's very current. So someone has drawn a very simple but beautiful illustration of how to look at, how to map out the problem and the root cause of the problem and how to solve the problem, how to prevent and how to keep ourselves safe. Okay. So here you look at the central theme. All right. The central theme is all about the pandemic. And it says stay home. The way it says stay home, right? And that's been such a problem for the last couple of years, right? And we cannot predict what is going to happen. But at the same time, we are trying to weave around our own problems and try to make life more interesting. So we could have shut ourselves and sat at home and not come to college and not gone to school or whatever. But thank God for technology, we are yet able to connect. So when you look at mind mapping, the central topic will always be, the focus area, and then you will branch out. And if you look at the screen, you will see that there are different colors used. The different colors will help you retain specific, subheads. So from the central theme, you're branching out. It's like a tree in your mind. You will start branching out and trying to segregate or get more clarity about the problem. So here, where does it stem from? The virus. You look at the virus there, right? It speaks about corona. Where does it start? From the bats, they have said. It started with Wuhan. Ease of spread, very high. Okay. What are the symptoms? So you are now breaking the problem. To get more clarity, take away the confusion. You're using different curves and lines and colors so that you can memory in your memory, you can retain the entire picture much better. So now when you break the problem into minute details, you will be able to understand which area is the major problem and try to solve that particular problem. That is where you're trying to create value. All right. Now you look at the symptoms: fever, loss of smell, taste, breathing difficult, right? You have to isolate yourself. So now people have put symptoms. Then your transmission. How does it transmit? Face, nose, mouth, droplets, eyes. Okay. And then prevention. Distance, social distancing, stay at home, wash your hands frequently, stay hygienic, right? These are simple things that they have brought clarity to. Treatment, supportive, ventilator, isolation, right? Take your specific tablets, right? And then about the disease, it's a pandemic, it's high risk, right? So this entire picture will give you if someone looks at it very quickly, they will be able to understand the various aspects of the problem. And then you start working on the solution. So what have you done in mind mapping? You have branched out. You have taken a central problem and you have branched out. You brought clarity to what exactly can be done when you break the problem, right? Any questions so far? Any questions? Are you getting more clarity right now? How you can look at problems, how you can look at things around you? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now slowly that confusion needs to go. All right. Now I will give you a central theme. I will give you something like, okay, let's take organic food. So instead of COVID-19 out here, the central theme is organic food. How will you branch out? How will you start looking at various things under organic food? Tell me that. What are the different ways in which you can bring more clarity? How will you break down organic food? So somewhere it is grown, right from where it is grown, you start thinking of it that way. Think,
Ma'am,
think.
organic foods it should not be used by chemicals, ma'am.
Correct. So now what? Very good point. So now you're saying the first thing, the first branch will be non-preservative, no chemicals. What is the benefit? Now you're putting the benefit. Excellent. What else can you branch it out to?
It can be branched out by many food products, ma'am, by non using
Okay.
chemicals.
Yes, and many food products. So can you name a few food products?
It can be rice or vegetables like carrot, like that, ma'am.
Excellent. So you're branching. The next branch is all about, you can grow you can grow wheat, you can grow rice, you can grow vegetables, whatever. Okay, that's another branch. Excellent. What else can happen? So now you're getting to the root of what it is. One, it can be grown, without any chemicals or preservative or fertilizers or whatever, right? What else? What can you do with it? Now you talk about how you will bring it. Now think about the process of bringing it to the market. What can you do with it? I'm trying to get the, just a minute. Talk about it. Right? Talk about it. What will you do with organic food? You can do a lot more. You can do a lot more.
By using organic food, we can bring it market also, ma'am.
Yes. Now, when you're bringing it to the market, what will you do?
By giving a sample of a food like vegetables also, ma'am.
Okay.
And by giving an ad also.
Excellent. All right. So
So it
you're
can be reached by thousands of people that it can buy easily, ma'am, by using
okay.
ad.
Excellent. So now whoever is, shy to speak, now I put that again on this. You can write your responses. What will you do with organic food? What will you do with organic food?
Ma'am, we does not add any flavors and any colors to the organic foods, ma'am.
Excellent. Okay. No flavors, no color. So now, see, wherever you saw that COVID stuff, no, the branches, okay, no flavors, no color, completely organic, no chemicals, non-chemicals. Now you are coming with what are the products? You can grow so many things. You can grow vegetables, fruits, rice, wheat, whatever. Okay, all those products. Now another branch, another color will talk about, how will you market it? when you're bringing it to the market. Now, one business can be from the farm to the market. Okay, all of you must look at the organization called Ninja Cart. So they are now coming up with e-commerce. They have put a great platform from farmers to the market, and how they use technology to ensure that the food is brought to the market. Some of it will be organic, some of it will be typically from the farm to the market. But I'm giving you this, particular example, because you can look up and you can see how much now they've started in one particular area, but now they're branching out to other cities. They're testing and trying their product. Okay, you can look up Ninja Cart. Okay, all right. So what they're doing now, they're bringing it to the market. Online shopping as organic groceries. Excellent. Now you're coming up with ideas. All right. Online shopping as organic groceries. You can set up a store. All right, you can set up a store, use whatever Dunzo or whatever to deliver your products to the residents around. All right.
Ma'am, when we bring this to the marketing, there is no difference between organic and inorganic, no, ma'am.
So how will you differentiate? Good, isn't that a problem? So how will you tell people that it is organic?
I mean, can be differentiate, ma'am.
How will you
By a
differentiate?
degradable and non-degradable, ma'am. On a chemical product, it will take a degradable to about a month, ma'am. When organic, it will use to degradable to about 2-3 weeks only, ma'am.
Yes. So it is less shelf life. So how quickly you can use it. So how do you communicate to the customers? Excellent question. So how will we know? Because that communication has to go to the customers. Now you see how you're building your business, how you're taking it from an idea and going to the next level.
Yes, ma'am. The communication should be good with the
Yes,
people, ma'am.
absolutely. So now you're actually, putting a full-fledged idea into a business model. Okay, excellent. Very good thoughts, all of you. You can ads in social medias, absolutely less cost. People are on social media. You can use these platforms to really market your organic products. So now that is a mind mapping. We are still in the second stage, right? The second, of tool or framework of ideation. All right. So here you are now working only on the mind map aspect. So under organic food, again, when you're looking at another branch, it is marketing. How will you market the whole thing? Very good thoughts. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? Come on, all of you will have plenty of ideas. Now, when you're setting up a store, now there will be two more branches. One is setting up an actual store of organic groceries or organic products. The next will be e-commerce business, right? So now you have a beautiful map and you can keep growing. See, people will revisit that mind map to keep adding on. As and when you get ideas, you will keep adding on. For instance, if the central theme was coffee, right from the coffee plantation to a coffee shop, you can really mind map and look at the different aspects of how you will bring in ideation. So there is a business in coffee plantation to the market. There is a business in, from the market, the coffee, the beans or the powder or whatever, there is a separate market. From there, coming to a nice elite coffee shop, it's a different market, right? So how are you looking? So this is the thought process. How are you looking at ideas? And how are you also slowly looking at different kinds of customer segments? All right. So even in organic food, right from the farm to the market to getting the stuff across to people like all of us, right? As customers, what are the different processes? What are the different segments? How much will people buy? So that's how businesses, are formed. People think about business. Okay. So this was just to help you understand how mind mapping is done. Then it's storyboarding. Beautiful tool and framework, and a lot of organizations do this. It is very clear. On the screen here, I've just put story. Story means you're going to think of the problem and you're going to weave and tell a story as to what the solution can be. All right. So here in that entire on the screen, there are some specific pictures. All right. So it's a visual prompt. So you download the app. Okay. They're talking about an app where you can get some coupons to get food very quickly. Let's look at where the problem is. Okay. So someone sees a commercial, they download the app, right? They're in the mood, they're very hungry, and then he places an order. Now, what happens? That hunger continues. You have placed the order, it's taking 25 minutes. This is a problem. You will not, at that moment of hunger, you don't want to wait for 25 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour for the snack or the food to arrive. And so what do? Drives to the restaurant, you take your coupon or whatever, you complete some kind of a survey and then you get your food. Now they're speaking about a solution. So instead of that, you can just go to the restaurant, or, you can, take the whatever offer or discount that they have to offer, and then you can get your food on the table. So different kinds of ideas. Either you go to the restaurant, or instead of waiting for 25 minutes, right, someone will say that my value proposition, the value I'm creating is, no matter where you are, in 10 minutes your food arrives, right? So here the visualization is, they will think from the customer point of view and draw out the entire story on a whiteboard. They will use either, so if you were in class, we would have given you a lot of, post-its and asked you to create a nice storyboard for a specific problem, right? So since this is online, I can only ask you, and I can only ask you to talk about it. Okay. Now, if I were to give you, again, the plastic thing that we saw earlier, the plastic problem. Now I will come to the story that I want to tell you. Since it is storyboarding, though I do not have a visual story, but I will show you, their site. Some of you might have heard about this organization called Pool, which means in Hindi it is flower. It is Phool. Okay, Pool. Now in Pool, the entire story starts. Now you have to visualize. Entire story starts with two friends meeting on the bank of river Ganges. Okay. Now, when they are meeting, they are sitting there. It is Makar Shankranti time, right? They're sitting in the early hours of the morning, and they are having a discussion. And then they're looking at all these people who come early in the morning to worship, to, do their puja, to dip into the waters, and these sentiments and the tradition and the ritual around it. So while they're doing, they're actually looking at the waters polluted, plastic, dead bodies on one side, lot of this temple waste on the other side, everything floating on the waters. And yet the belief, the values, right? People are stepping into the water, they are worshipping, and they are drinking the water. Now these two people, and this is real story, okay? So these two people are chatting, and they say, now they start, looking at this, and they're astonished. Oh my God, don't they know that the water is toxic? Don't they know there is so much of poison, right? How can they consume something like that? What are they believing in, right? So while having this discussion, like many of us, you can either talk about it and condemn other people around. Oh, these factories, they are the problem. Oh, the government is not doing anything about it. Yet, during the conversation, one of them, the founder of the organization, that time, it was still not an organization, he said, let me do something. And the product that they thought was the flower waste from the temples. So many tons and tons of flowers, because around Varanasi there's so many temples, so many tons of waste of the flowers are going into the waters daily. How do we take those flower waste and do something about it? How do we recycle, and what do we make out of the recycled waste? Right? 1.5 years they researched, and then they came up with a product under the banner called Cool, where they started, making incense sticks from the recycled flower waste. Challenges getting to the temple authorities, because all this is considered very sacred and very holy. No one wanted them to touch the temple waste. To get the permissions, to get the government in, it took them tremendous effort. Today they are such a flourishing business. All right, they are doing this. They are, like you said, no chemicals. They are bringing out holy colors, right, when they play holy. So all this is very organic. Everything is organic product. And what are they doing? Building the livelihood of all those underprivileged women and all that. And they are including them in the process of sorting out the waste, right? So family by family, they are ensuring that such people have great livelihoods. So today they have been funded. One of the actresses is also part of the funding process. So you see, just simple. Here on this platform today, you might be looking at a problem. Tomorrow you might start a business. So it's not about thinking of the solution, it is about producing. Ideation is about doing, putting into action, not just thought process. When we come to design thinking, you will understand how beautiful that process is. Okay, so look at all these different prompts. Another tool of ideation, visualization. How do you look at something and think, oh my God, I could have made a better product from this. Can you look at any of these products and tell me how you can add on or delete or whatever, do something with this product and make it a much better product? Tell me. Anything on the chat? Let me know. Anything. Some of you can unmute and speak. What can you do to help? What can you add on? Look at all these different products on the screen. So you look at something, you go to a shop and you think, if only this could have been done, improve on this particular product or service or whatever, right? You can still have better options.
Ma'am, they can show the products are in so many colors, different types of colors and different types of...
Yes. And what can you do to make it even more effective? Now, suppose there is a backpack, a simple backpack. If it were you and you are carrying a backpack, right? Some of you will think, if only the backpack had this. What can you add on? What features can you add on to make it even more interesting?
They can do more advantages on the backpack and other products.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Like a laptop space and book space, more and things, ma'am. And a water bottle space also, ma'am.
Okay, so specific compartments within, so that you know exactly where to pick things from instead of just a free space.
And
Okay.
there can be a raincoat for our bags, ma'am. Which should be fully covered, ma'am. And it should be a waterproof also, ma'am.
Waterproof material. So it starts right from the material, starts about, you can talk about how you can keep improving on the product. The more you improve and make life easier for customers, the more willingness that they will purchase your product, because you're creating value in their lives. You're making life easier, much better for them. That is how
it should be a more lightweight products also, ma'am.
Lightweight, absolutely. Again, it comes back to the material. All right, so what are you using? How can you make it lightweight? So many people doing so many things these days, right? A simple torch, a simple pencil. Those were the days when we used to sharpen the pencil and you use simple pencils. Now you see for the children and all that, all kinds of colors, the eraser in different shapes, in cartoon characters and everything attached, so that they like writing using the pencil and like writing and all that, right? Simple trays that you can use to beautify your home inside. So when you look at something and then you think of an idea, right, and you say, I am getting ideas of how I can improve and make a better product, that also is ideation. All right.
Yes, ma'am. It can be
Finally.
used by different
Hmm.
shapes and colors also, ma'am. Using
Absolutely.
like cartoons and different shapes
Absolutely.
of pencils and different shapes of rubber erasers and sharpeners, like
Hmm.
etc. Also, ma'am.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you for all the different ideas that you're bringing up. I think very few of you are taking the effort to speak, but I'm also very happy that some of you are opening up and talking. Scamper is a very widely used tool for ideation. Before we come to design thinking, let's talk about this final aspect of one another framework and tool in ideation. So scampered means substitute. So each, alphabet stands for one way, one particular aspect of either you substitute something in a particular product or service and make it a completely different product or service. You combine, bring two things together. Appliances, smartphone. When you see in your smartphone, you already have a camera. They've combined the features. Okay, you're adapting. You're using the same product for a different purpose, right? You modify a particular product, or you put to other use the same product, right? And then you eliminate any particular feature, it becomes another product, or you reverse the process. Those were the times when you used to go to a restaurant, when you used to order food, and then you sit, and after you eat food, then you get the bill. Now you're seeing the reverse order, self service. You go to a McDonald's, you go to a Pizza Hut or whatever, you first have to go order, pay the bill, and then you sit back and relax, all the work done, and you get your food, and you can sit back, relax, and take your time, eat and go, right? So when you take a product like this, right, put to another use, people use toothbrush to clean stuff or whatever, put to another use, right? Now tell me one product where you can use one of these different aspects and come up with a new idea. Go back to the visual prompt. You already added some additional things to the backpack, and you could have used this particular tool, and you could have actually you modified. So the backpack with different compartments, you use the tool of modification of Scamper and done it. And you can add on more things. Now for this particular tool, you take a particular product, you just look around, you take a particular product and use one of these or two of these, whatever you want to use, aspects of it, factors of it, and then give me a new product quickly. And then we'll start on the design thinking. Anything on the chat?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Speak up, speak up. All of you will have plenty of ideas, I'm sure. Very simple thing, online classes. What is it that you want to add on to ensure it becomes even more interesting? What features would you like to see on online, platforms? So platforms like Zoom, platforms like this, Google Meet have added on background features, for varied effects. You can use different kind of backgrounds, and you can use even your own company's logo or whatever, and you can adapt. In the same manner, how will you take a product, add on or combine? Think of kitchen appliances, think of different products, think of what you're using day to day. Sometimes you think, you can think of a product இது கூட இது சேர்ந்தா நல்லா இருக்குமே, you think, right? Combination இருந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும். So what are the two things that you want to combine?
Ma'am, in the backpack you should combine a lock, ma'am. The safety locks.
Ah,
It is a number pattern or anything, ma'am.
good. Some of them in other sessions also have said that. So you can have a safety aspect, right? You can have a lock, the number combination, however you want to have it, you can have that. So that typically, like you have in suitcases, you can have for this. So that you know it's a very holistic thing. Whatever you're carrying, a laptop, everything needs to be safe, right? So you can have a lock. Very good. What else?
Ma'am, we can also have a pencils with the back of erasers.
Yes,
Pencils at the
absolutely.
back with erasers.
Absolutely. Pencils with that.
And have more different types of pencils like 2H pencil, 2HP pencil, and 3H pencils.
Yes,
That like
yes, absolutely. So when you look at a pen these days, so instead of buying, different color pens, you see one pen where you can, just raise, you can have different colors. You have green, blue, red, black, whatever. And when you put, the tip up and down, you get that specific color coming out of the pen, right? So
And it should have a different spaces, ma'am, for pen and pencil. It should have different spaces for carrier pencil, ma'am.
now you're building the product itself. Wonderful. See how when you start thinking so many things, now what happens is some of them take these ideas and actually make it happen, make life easy for people. All right, that's what design thinking is all about. Design, when you think of design, all right, so before that, let's talk about a few things, thumb rules when it comes to ideation. So forget limitations. Don't limit yourself when you're bringing together different ideas. As many ideas as possible you generate. So, like I said, quantity over quality. Never criticize with someone. This is not the stage when you say, "Oh, this will not work, that will not work." This idea is crappy. No, don't think about. Don't be judgmental. Don't judge anything right now. Bring all the ideas to the table. It's all about quantity at this stage. Only then you will start using tools and frameworks to come to picking that correct solution to the problem. Right? There's a whole lot of different stages to bringing a business plan into shape. Okay. And then bring together teams, look at different kinds of ideas, look at what your friends are telling, look at what other people are saying. So co-creating or coming together as a team and building on each other's ideas makes any organization successful. So this is all about ideation. All right, so I will also show you what I spoke about. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're able to see this particular fool.com. See the kind of products they've created out of temple flower waste, right? He needn't have done this at all. So now it's all, now you can order from wherever you are. Now, since it's e-commerce, you can just kind of order. So you go through this entire see the aroma, burners, see the kind of products, see how beautifully colorful. Can you think this is stinking, stenching waste that has been converted and recycled into something like this? I had a colleague of mine who is also part of an incubation center in the north in Delhi, one of the institutions in Delhi. He had a chance to go visit Varanasi and visit where they're doing this. He said when you step into the place where they're sorting out the entire waste, the stench and that smell, he said he couldn't bear it, but they're doing it because it's their livelihood. So no one knows what goes behind the scene. When you look at entrepreneurship, the kind of journey that one has to sustain that, to face those challenges and to come up with something like this, where now second series of funding, they're really expanding their base. Okay. I wanted to show you this particular. Okay, now I will stop sharing. Can someone just very quickly summarize what you feel ideation is all about? What have you learned in this 1 hour before we get to? I just want to know, sir, is there any break? Do they have a break in between?
Madam, we will have after this session, madam.
Okay, fine. I just wanted to know. Okay. So can someone just kind of summarize just 2 or 3 lines? What have you
Yes,
understood
ma'am.
about
We
ideation?
discussed about plastic bottles, ma'am.
Hmm.
Plastic bottles and recyclable, ma'am.
Okay, very good.
And we discussed about some of the products also, ma'am.
Hmm.
Which is a backpack and selfie sticks also, ma'am.
Okay. So what are the different tools that you use while ideating? What can you use? What different ways can you use to ideate? What are the different tools like brainstorming? What else did you learn?
Ma'am, first we have to get a clear idea about it. Then we
Hmm.
have to moving a next step into a mind mapping. That what are the things we have to going to do. That like. Uh,
Very good. Now, see, these are different techniques. You need not, it's not, one after the other. These are different techniques. You can use it very separately. Okay. Brainstorming is one, mind mapping is another. Then you can use the scamper technique, or you can use what else? Visual effects or storytelling. All these different techniques. So, whatever technique you use when you are doing ideation, do it very thoroughly to generate as many ideas. What is very important to keep in mind when you're ideating?
Ma'am, but the
Last,
important thing is before we get into that solution, must have the planning, no?
yes,
So
for the
what we
plan.
have to do?
Very good, Samya. Yes. Kishore and Soumya are the only ones who are speaking, right? Tell me, Soumya. Yes, for planning as many ideas that you can collect, you have to collect. All right, because only
Okay, ma'am.
then you will have to come to the planning stage to see how can I take the next step. The next step, if you understand the design thinking process, the most beautiful 5 stage process. Okay, so I'll dive into design thinking right now. Let me just open up the PPT and share with you. Now, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
So let's look at design thinking. All right. How do you develop product, service? How do you actually look at the whole process? Now, my question to you is, when you think about design, what comes to your mind when you say design?
It is about a safety, ma'am.
About
A safety.
safety. Okay. You're thinking
Safety of a
safety.
building and escape in taking a fire.
Okay. You're thinking of safety. எங்கேயோ போயிட்டீங்க. Very good. You've gone somewhere into one already the solution mode. Okay. Now, typically, when someone thinks about design, what else comes to your mind?
Ma'am, in the software side, we have front-end developer like that.
Okay. Very good.
Ma'am,
And
a
a creativity
participant
of a
has
design, ma'am.
Pardon?
participant
Creativity
has
of a
said
design of a
creativity in
new
the chat
building.
box.
Yes, creativity, absolutely creative. So when you're thinking of design, so typically if I were, a common person, I will think of, design means, okay, colors, I'll think of art, I'll think of, creating something, right? And but here the design thinking, when you're clubbing it with ideation, when you're looking at the process, it's all about how can I, you know, ensure that a product or service is brought forward into the market so that people are going to see value, that creativity, that innovation, all right, is going to be part of my, you know, problem solving. So design thinking is a problem solving method. It is a tool for you to understand. It's a framework. It has many principles, and it starts with your mindset. So as soon as I said design, he's already thinking about safety. He's thinking about, you know, if there is a fire. He's already thinking of a problem that he has seen and how he wants to solve. All right. So it's all about customers. One of the mistakes every entrepreneur makes is when you get a specific idea, when you have that idea with you, you cling to that idea. You say, okay, somehow I must bring this idea into the market. I have to launch this business. But you are thinking from your point of view. You want to make it happen. But are you actually thinking whether there is a market for it? Are you thinking how many people will buy your product? Are you thinking of what the customers want? You are only thinking that you are having a great idea, great product, great service. Right? Design thinking is a process where you stop to think from your shoes, but you step into the shoes of the customer to understand what the market really wants. For example, when we spoke about the backpack, you were thinking about all that you want in the backpack, additional features. Why? You are a customer. If I were creating the backpack and I did not have the compartments and I did not put a lock, which means I'm thinking of designs, I'm thinking of colors, I'm thinking of whatever. But have I really approached you to find out what exactly do you want in a backpack? So this design thinking process is the other way around. It's to actually, please remember one thing, thumb rule again for design thinking is customers are kings and queens. You have to cater to the market. Sometimes you'll have to do things which you may want to do or you may not want to do, but the market demands it. They will pay because you are doing it, you are giving them what they want. It's not about what you want. Okay, so there's a beautiful process. There is the Stanford Design School which came up with this entire process, and most of them use this, which is a 5-stage model. It's a 5-stage principle which says empathize. Then you define the problem. Then you look at the problem and then you ideate around the problem. You have looked at all the ideation techniques, and then you build a prototype, and then you test it in the market, and then you come back and then again you improve upon based on the feedback from customers. So here it's all about being human centric or customer oriented. It's not about you at all. It's about what am I doing to ensure that I make this life most beautiful for my customer, right? And this is what they did. So when you look at the design thinking process, the specific example that I gave of fool, right? So they were looking at they were empathizing with the people, with all those people around, having, breathing polluted air, right? They were looking at people who did not have livelihoods. They were not having enough, money to run their own families. A lot of underprivileged people around that area, right? How can they make lives much better, right? So empathize. What do you think empathy means? All of us understand sympathy, right? What do you think empathy means? What do you think empathy? All of you are on online only, no? Some of you can be smart enough to look up what empathy means and talk about it. Good. This is This is a session where you can quickly look at your mobile phones or, Google out empathy and talk about it. That's how smart you need to be. What do you think empathy means?
I'm creating an emotion on someone.
Yes. So, apart from creating an emotion, you're understanding the emotions of your customers, right? You're understanding the pain point of what the market demands or requires. You're understanding the feelings and the emotions of what the customers are wanting.
Ma'am, one participant has said, placing yourself in the other man's shoes.
Absolutely. Stepping into the shoes of your customers is called empathy. Okay. Stepping into the shoes of someone else to go through what they're going through and feeling what they're feeling. Right. Today, I don't have the time to go through. Design thinking process can be done over 3 days. Today, I'm just going to tell you very briefly what this 5 stage is all about. Each process can be very, very in depth. So, when you're actually stepping into the shoes of the other person and you start feeling, now there is something called the empathy tool or the empathy map. So, there they will put a framework of think, feel, say, do. What is your customer feeling? What is the pain point? How is he or she thinking? Right? What are they saying about the problem? And how are they coping at the moment? What are they doing about the problem? Now, typically, let us take now suppose take the pandemic itself, right? There was a time when it was so much people losing, family members, whatever, no oxygen cylinders. So people were stepping into the shoes. So you see the pain point of what the different people were going through. The family members in the hospitals absolutely run out of beds. You cannot take them to the ICU. There are no oxygen cylinders. So what was happening? People were trying to find out ways in which they could be given the oxygen. So the entire understanding of stepping into the shoes and trying to feel the person trying to lose a member of the family or trying to ensure the member is being given that treatment at that particular moment, you're empathizing, you're doing everything to find out what the solution of where to ensure either something they are able to get a hospital bed or they're able to get a oxygen cylinder. That's empathy. All right. So how do they do it? So if you look on the screen, people actually interview or they go around shadowing their customers to find out daily how their life is, to understand the lifestyle. And mark you, this is what happens. I was really shocked when I heard the story about Uber Eats. Uber Eats, which is based now, Uber, cabs, Uber Eats in the US, okay, tracks down, customers, the delivery process, the consumer process, the restaurant process, everything. They go, they travel to London, they travel to, other places to find out exactly how the customers, feel. There is an entire team that goes and tastes food. What is the item on the menu which is being ordered day in and day out? Why is that particular food being cherished? Why how is the delivery process? How does the person present himself or herself when delivering the product? Everything is empathized with. So they step into the shoes of the person eating, which means they keep eating. There is an entire team which goes to different cities to understand the restaurants, understand what is the food, and they keep tasting and they come back and they share their experience of how Uber Eats is working. I was shocked. They go to the level of, stepping into the shoes of different customers. For them, the customers are the restaurants. For them, the customers are the people who are going and delivering the food. And finally, the end users like us who are ordering Uber Eats. To that level, design thinking process is being used. Okay. So you empathize. So here again, non-judgmental, because you are just understanding the whole process. Then you define the problem. Let us take cabs itself. Okay. Now, many years ago, before Ola, before Uber and all that, what were the problems about cabs? What were the different problems that we were facing with cabs?
The tracking of a cab, ma'am,
Tracking, excellent,
and
okay.
more problems with the drivers.
Drivers will not know the place. We'll have to give them directions. Okay, sometimes they will not come on time. We'll have to keep calling and finding out. I remember before Ola and Uber, I have to keep calling and find out. Sometimes when you have urgent meetings, then the cab will not come. Sorry, madam, driver illa. Right? So these were some of the problems. Now you are defining different problems. So the pain points of the customer now you're putting. One is not arriving on time. Two, the drivers, you don't know how they are. Three, no tracking. Four, okay, they don't know the place, you will have to instruct them. Five, cost. Cab fare used to be huge before Ola and Uber, right? And then you look at maybe the time that it takes, or you're not able to even give feedback. People won't take feedback easily. All these are problems. Or say you see you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these are the problems. What are you doing? You're defining problem by problem. Okay. So you're now trying to understand the persona of the customer, the pain point of the customer. You're trying to understand, how do I decide, what are the challenges, what are the pain points. Now, as a startup, as a person who is ideating, you cannot give solutions for all the problems. Why? It takes money, it takes effort, right? You'll have to really understand how much you can initially give or market when you start a business. So from all these different problems, you'll have to prioritize and pick that 1 or 2 major pain points for which you're going to create value and provide the solution. You understand? Now, those people in Fool, there were plastic bottles, there were dead bodies, there were temple flowers, there were, different kinds of things in the water. They prioritized, they looked at what was majorly they could do, within their bandwidth. Temple flowers. They prioritized, right? Understood that from this, they are now segregating one aspect of the problem and dealing with that. That's a completely separate niche market. So when you come up with different problems, don't think as a startup, or don't think as an initial, when you get to start a business, you can solve all the problems in that area. No. You'll have to be smart about prioritizing and understanding which part of that problem you can create much value. And you will take that, because someone has to understand you are right now not a brand. You have to create your brand. You see where Amul is today. Amul used the design thinking process. When Kurian was working, in Gujarat or whatever, he wasn't even thinking about, the problems of milk distribution, right? Those were the times during the British era where, the farmers were completely exploited. Today, you look at the Gujarat, Milk Federation and what Amul is doing, huge industry. How they have, thought of cooperatives, how they are distributing milk is completely the design thinking process, customer oriented. So different farmers, what was happening? The milk that they were producing, very cheaply they were selling it. They were not even getting the money on time. It was being sold to a particular organization through middlemen who were corrupt. Just what is happening to our farmers these days, right? And then the milk was being sent to the city where that particular company was making all the money. Nothing was coming to the farmers. So there was one person who went to Korean and said, "Can you help me?" Because he was foreign returned. He had that kind of a, bandwidth. So he wasn't really thinking about it. So what did Korean do? He went to the farmers and he stayed with the farmers and he lived their life, stepping into the shoes, empathizing with the farmers. He went to the village. He stayed with the farmers. Every day he saw the pain of what the farmers were going through. Then he came up with the solution. Then they discussed. Then they formed the cooperatives. So different, segments of the villages, farmers were coming together. And then they put a process where as soon as, they started automating things. So as soon as the farmer was able to give the milk, whatever, immediately they were paid off. Slowly that went to from one particular a small region, it went to the region of Anand, where this entire Amul became the brand that it is today. And if you look at the story behind it, how much has gone to where it is today. Because someone empathized, went and lived the life of the customer, understood the pain point, and took the problem on themselves to solve it. So where is the main pain point is what you have to see. Okay. And then you go to now plastic bottles I showed you. You must all look up organization in Hyderabad called CARO, CARO. You know what they are doing? They are looking at this problem. They have come up with, water being delivered in boxes, paper boxes. Some of you had put the solution as paper bags and paper, items. Yes, they're doing it uh, in boxes, which means typically like you have the Tropicana, the real fruit juices and all that on those kind of, paper material, they are selling water. So please check out. This is a team of two who thought of it. They gave up their jobs, they came and they decided to ensure that they give back to society, right, by creating that particular product. It's a very impressive idea, because as soon as these boxes of waters are used, the person, typically like the person who delivers the boxes, will come and take back the cartons so that it is recycled again to be used. So there is no wastage. All right. If you have the time, please go and look up the video. It is very, very interesting. CARO, CARO. Okay. And then you ideate. So you list down all the ideas, you prioritize, you look at the solution, and then you create a prototype. Prototype is about, now suppose these people are creating the box to carry the water, right? So instead of all the different, the plastic that we see, in which people bring the big cans these days, the cans of water, those big cardboard boxes or whatever, paper boxes, they had a tap fixed to it, carbureted paper inside, whatever, so that there is good pure water is given. And they paid so much attention. So you just put on the tap and then you can have your water. Then you can flatten out the entire cardboard box or whatever and give it back to the person, bringing in the next box for you, so that whatever is over can be recycled. Now the prototype part of it is how you create that box and how you ensure that the customer finds it easy to operate, drink water, flatten the box. So prototyping is not the final product. It is what you're doing to go back to the customer. If I create this, will you use it? You're getting feedback from the customer. So you're keeping it simple. It can be on the board. It can be a Facebook post. Someone who wanted to start organic food, right? Someone who wanted to start that, wanted to understand with people buy organic snacks. So what did they do? They created a Facebook page that became their prototype, and they said announcing so and so, van. They were wanting to distribute organic snacks in movable vans in specific residential areas. So what they wanted to know is, if I am able to create this particular business, will people actually buy organic snacks? So then the Facebook page, they announced and they started asking their friends to, spread the message across. Within a week, they put a metrics. They said if so many people say like or no, say yes, then we will go ahead with the idea. That became their prototype. So the prototype can be on paper. You can draw and you can show. You can tell people, if I do this, where are the other features that you want? What is it that you want to see? Then you can create something from whatever different things that you have at home and show it. I worked with a 12th standard student who was in a biotechnology project for prosthetics, which is the artificial limbs. So we were discussing with the mentor as to, they're trying to think of how to create, prosthetics which can be in materials, in simple materials, where the cost is not so much, because prosthetics costs a lot, artificial limbs cost a lot. So they're trying to research and come up with something which is less costly. Now, this 12th standard student, so interestingly, what she did, she kept, cardboard boxes, whatever she had at home, she used rubber bands or whatever, just to try to create an arm to see where the pressure point should be and how, what and all we should try to keep in mind when the movement of the arm is. So prototype is not about building that final prosthetic. It's about trying to understand and trying to perfect the product that you're launching. So it goes to the market, you understand from the customers, you take more feedback, you come and improve. So throughout the cycle of your business, this happens, this innovation, this design thinking keeps happening. You look at Apple products, smartphones. People who use Apple products will not touch any other product, whether it is Mac or whether it is iPhone, whatever. They will not, they're so very loyal to Apple. Why? Because Apple has played with the emotions. They've empathized with their segment of customers, right? So what they have developed is completely keeping in mind emotions, the feel, of customers. Even when you look at the different ways in which Steve Jobs used to launch the products, it was, in such a lot of fanfare. It was all very rehearsed. The right words, the right technology, the right kind of, setting when the entire launch was done on new products. People queued up to buy the first product when the new products came into the market. Why? Overnight, they used to wait outside the Apple stores. Why? Because of the loyalty, the emotional connect with the product, right? You cannot find such things in. So how do you retain, sustain the customers? Everything is a very, very, what do I say, interesting process at every time, right? And then you go. The testing is about taking the prototype, like I said, going to the different customers and testing and trying the product. So empathize, how do I approach the challenge? Define, how do I interpret my findings? What is the key problem, right? And what do we create? Ideate, right? How do I build my idea? How do I prove and improve the idea from testing with the customers? These are the different steps you take, all right? So each one very quickly will go through. Empathy, foundation of human-centric, very customer-centric, right? You observe, you engage, you immerse, which is you're stepping into the shoes of the customer, right? So it's very interesting when you start looking at things. Interestingly, I got involved in some market research. This is all part of market research, okay? This also can be connected to market research. So I was doing some market research for an organization and talking and interviewing real customers who were using that particular product. Now, I was talking to a couple of them who were using the product of Tata's. Tata, as an Indian brand, has a very, very emotional set of customers. So, when I'm asking the customers, what do you think of, other competitor brand or Tata against this? The first thing, everyone said the same thing. When it comes to Tatas, we can trust. Tatas is, the patriotism, the context of we being Indians and Tata being, Indian, and Tata looking at, doing different things to cover different problems of customers. Such loyalty to the Tata brand, right? Similarly, people who are very, very interested in health. I did another market research with real-time customers for the energy bars, the health bars. People who do gymming, people who do, who are so busy in their life, in work, they don't have time for breakfast, lunch, but they take these snack bars or these energy bars. So while talking to them, I also found out how loyal they are to certain products. For instance, people, like a stamp, if the gym trainer says these bars are good, they listen to that person, they're loyal to. Take yoga bar, they will consume only yoga bar. And they will say, we don't want anything else because we are used to it. Now we're comfortable with it. So always understand, as new entrepreneurs, when you are cracking the market, when you are looking at the demand aspect of it, you are trying to change behavior. So when you're trying to change behavior, you so much more have to understand the real pain point of the customer to come up and prioritize the right kind of solution to a specific problem. All right. So it is very, very important to take time during this process to understand what the real, problem is and where you can create that unique value that people will pay for the product or service. Okay. So instead of getting excited or flaring up, stay focused. Come to the action part of it. What is your point of view? So when you look at all the ideation, brainstorm, all the ideas collected together, now you look at the key problem and then point out that this is your point of view. This is the key problem. And this, in my view, should be tackled as the key problem and thought of for solutions. Okay, now you're coming to action. Then you ideate. So you look at your teams, everyone who is giving you different ideas. You look at the volume of ideas. You look at the flexibility and variety in the innovation and creative ideas that are coming. And then don't do the obvious. Do go beyond obvious solutions. Think of crazy things. You never know where you can connect. Right? Then you look at prototyping. Like I said, it's not coming up with the real solution or the real product. Test and try. You can use different objects. You can use a storyboard. You can use post-it notes, right? Or you can even role play and talk about, if I do something like this, will you like it? Especially when it comes to services. You can play act, right? And then you test the product. Refine it further and further, then launch it. Now, one question I will ask you. Why do you think this process is necessary? When you think of typically a business idea and you want to launch that idea, why do you think this process is necessary? You can just go and create, whatever solutions that you want and you can start in the market. But why should you go through all these stages? What will it help you do? How will it help you as an entrepreneur?
Ma'am, to become a successful in that one, so we have to follow these steps to get no.
Yes, to be successful is one. What defines success for you? Very good. Now, to be more successful. But what is success? What are the different parts of that success? Why will you be a successful entrepreneur? On what basis will you define the success? Good, you're coming to the point. Why will any idea be successful? Why does any business as a startup, especially, understand, right now no one knows you. You're venturing into the market. I'm giving you tips. You have only so much capital. There are only a couple of people with you, right? At the same time, you have a solution. Where do you think, how will you define that success aspect? Why do you think this process is required? Tell me that. Think of it from your point of view. If you had not used this particular process, you think you have a great idea and you create the actual product and it goes to the market and it fails. Look at both these situations and tell me now, why do you think this process is required? I've given you the parallels. With the process, without the process.
Ma'am, the first thing is we have to create our identity, unique identity in that one.
Absolutely.
To become a successful person.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And you create that identity. How? Because all the early customers that you're trying to go and ask, is this prototype fine? Are you testing the product? What are you doing? You're capturing your early customers. You understand? See, one thing is, if you were to launch this entire product, think out of the box. You would have spent so much money. When it goes to the market, if it fails, effort gone, costing gone, money gone, team gone, everything gone. A lot of technology geeks, a lot of people who use technology or coming up with IT product, whatever it is, they feel so excited about the product that they don't even realize what the customer wants. On the other hand, now you're creating your identity. Why are you going slow with this process? At every stage, you're trying to reduce cost. You are failing early. When you go to the market and the person says, no, I don't like this, do something else with it. You have just created the prototype, not the actual product. So now you fail early. So now you can put your efforts into the right kind of identity. What are you trying to do? You are an entrepreneur who is more customer oriented. So once you come up with the actual product through different iterations, back and forth, 3 or 4 times with the market before you actually launch a product, you're already known within certain, market customers. Those customers will refer you to other customers. How do you build your brand slowly? You see, so many different things are involved when it comes to design thinking. Good. So success happens when you're trying to create something with available resources, trying not to fail, trying to create something which you will stage by stage be successful in, where you don't waste so much money, but at the same time, you're capturing a segment of the market that you want to, without too much effort, because you're going to the market and giving them what they want at each time. When they're talking about what they want, you're coming back and building your product or service. You're prototyping it according to that, to the solution. Are you able to understand the importance now?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the methods is never be judgmental. Have a blank mind. Start fresh. whether it is mind mapping or whatever. Don't go to customers who want your product. Go to customers, even interview customers who do not want your product. Ask them why you will not buy my product. So suppose you're creating the backpack with the lock, with this or whatever, and there's a certain price attached to it. You go and ask customers who are not using backpacks why they are not using backpacks, right? And go to extremes. So extremes have to be covered. Engage with extreme users. Go to people who are using it. Go to the mid-level people. Go to people who are not using it, right? Do different kinds of engagement, camera study, shadowing the person, and then come up with all what you learn and put it on the board and start segregating and understanding, prioritizing your solutions. All right. So the mindset, finally, I want to end up with the mindset. Be customer centric always. Bias towards action. It's not about just thinking. How do you produce it? Put it into action. Show the prototype. Show people what you have to offer. Don't tell. Talking is easy. Relating, showing, coming back, measuring, improving, going back, getting feedback is very, very important. Understand what you give, clarity, right? Get clarity. The confusion should go. So it starts with, the different aspects of ideation and comes to clarity through design thinking. Always collaborate. You cannot do anything alone, right? Entrepreneurship succeeds when your team succeeds, right? Always have the culture of going to the market, getting feedback, and improving on your product or service. And always be mindful of the process. Always think, empathize. It's not about you, it's about the market, it's about customers. That kind of an attitude or a mindset, if you have, you will succeed in whatever business you're planning to do. Okay? You are doing it because you care for somebody else's lives. I am done with today's session. Any questions? Any
Participants, you can unmute yourself and post your questions.
I'm done. And you can ask any questions. If you have any ideas, you can talk about it. If you want any solutions, any questions around your ideas, you can talk about it. There's a forum. A lot of people can also throw ideas. But overall, I want from some of you what you have been thinking, what you think you have learned, what are the new things that you have learned today. Tell me that. I really want to understand the learning curve. Nobody learned anything? Come on, all of you should start talking.
Dear participants, you just unmute yourself and
Yes.
yes, someone initiated. Janet.
Has it been useful? Have you learned something new today?
Dr. Sudha Madam. Yes, Harish. Anyone?
Yes, ma'am. I was able to get a lot of information, especially on design thinking, ma'am, because I've been quite associated with entrepreneurship, Epic Club in my college. So
Okay.
I've gathered a few good level of knowledge in idea generation. But the way you actually briefed about design thinking and how there are various stages of design thinking, that information was very useful for me, ma'am, personally
I
speaking.
have another suggestion, Harish. If you are, part of this epic, then you can do one thing. There is a lot of good information. Please download the entire process. What I've told you is just, touching the basics today, but more in-depth information is available on the Stanford website. Please download a PDF with the entire process through their bootcamp. Just put design thinking Stanford bootcamp, you'll get the
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely. I will look into
Yes.
it, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody
Madam,
else?
madam,
Yes, sir.
madam from Kongu Arts and Science. Madam, Dr. Jayanti, madam.
Yes, sir. Very good morning to another present here.
Yes, madam.
Madam,
Please sit.
yes, sir. Madam, really the presentation was very helpful to our students. Today we are from arts background. I have some problem that the people are not coming forward to concentrate in these areas. But today, surely I hope you that all the people will get more idea about the design thinking. So sure, I am having a hope that my maximum of students participants of today will go for these ideas. Thanks a lot for your great presentation, madam.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. In
It
fact,
inspires us a lot.
arts and science can have a lot going. If you actually look at some of what has happened in the institutions here, ma'am, you will see in arts and science colleges, specifically, if you can bring in some trainers for, training them in things like, in crafts or in bakery or in, specific vocations, then they can launch their business from within the campus. That will be great. If you can, even if you want to have a connect with specific faculty who have made entrepreneurship a great success on the campus here, like MOP, Vaishnav and all, please reach out to me. I can connect you and you can talk to them and build, great programs on your campus.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. We are also doing that, ma'am. Already we
Yeah,
are giving training to the students, but
wonderful.
still we are not able to get that number.
Okay.
Anyhow, we'll try our best, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your inspiring session, ma'am. Thank you.
Then anybody else, participants? Here, faculty members and students of various institutions from Hindustan, from FSMK Fumra, Janan sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please.
Ma'am, your session was very interactive with all these lucid examples. It was just provoked a thought along this design thinking. I also attended a session earlier on design thinking. So this has once again re-emphasized the purpose of how it could transform this innovative ideas into prototypes, how the
Excellent.
various stages involved. It's very interesting. Thank
Yes.
you. It's a wonderful
Yes.
session.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity and wonderful interacting with all of you. I really thank those who came forward and interacted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Harish?
Okay, there is something on the chat here.
Yes, madam. That's why.
Gokulakanan says, lots of problems are in our country, ma'am, but why people do not care about them and how to improve them? Because no one is coming forward. You see, that is why, I spoke about the person. You can look at the problem, you can blame somebody, but taking up a problem and, finding a solution and starting it, it is because of the ecosystem that needs to be existing around your area, which is why institutions right now are building. See, why does entrepreneurship cell exist? Why is incubation becoming a necessity? Why is our country wanting more entrepreneurs? The reason is we have been used to a certain culture of, marks oriented thing. You finish your exams, you go, you get a job, and you get your salary, whatever. You feel comfortable in that. Entrepreneurship is not about comfort zone, is stepping out of the comfort zone. Not too many people will step out of the comfort zone. Now it comes back to the idea of, do you have what it takes to start a business? Do you want to take that risk? Try out stuff. Look at the opportunities. Small things that you can do. You don't have to do big things. Later on, when it grows. But that first step somebody has to take. That is why you don't see more and more people coming forward. And that's why the government is now slowly, earlier it was all about placements. Let me be very frank. When I started promoting entrepreneurship in all campuses like yours, right? 2005, 2006, from that time I've been promoting entrepreneurship. First, when we used to go to colleges, it was literally trying to overcome placement. Then we said the entrepreneurial mindset, the thinking is required for better job opportunities. HR in organizations looks at entrepreneurial skills. So not everyone will become an entrepreneur, but you can be very entrepreneurial within the organization. You can contribute to the success of any organization. So these skills are very, very critical. And you can use these different, learnings to even whatever job that you're doing. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Participants? Thank you, madam. Thank you for the wonderful presentation, madam.
Thank you. Thank you for all those who are wishing Happy Women's Day. Okay.
Yes, madam. Happy Women's Day, madam. Harish?
Yes,
Harish?
yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for the very informative and interactive session on idea generation and design thinking. I hope from the response from the participants itself, it's very clear that the session was very interactive and they were interacting a lot with you and discussing various aspects of the session. I definitely believe participants could have gained greater insights about idea generation and design thinking from the way they have interacted with you, the interaction levels. We can see that they have gained a lot of insights about the session topic. So once again, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the very much interactive session and giving greater thoughts about today's topic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Eleven, sir. Madam,
Please, sir. Thank you, madam.
Sir, thank you, sir, for organizers, Ilaivel, sir, and Natarajan, sir. Thank you so much for giving a great session to us today, sir. Thanks a lot.
Madam, Dr. Jayanti, madam.
Sir, sir, please.
Madam வந்து சுஜராவ் மேடம் வந்து எங்களுடைய கிளாஸஸ் வந்து இங்க most of the Tamil Nadu institution through NEN we call National Entrepreneurship Network. For 5 years back, the faculty development program through EDIA, they had a model, hub and spoke model. உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் நினைக்கிறேன்.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hub and spokes model EDI தமிழ்நாடு introduce பண்ணாங்க. IEDP ஸ்கீம்ல. Entrepreneurship Innovation Scheme, IEDP.
Yes, sir. Innovation Entrepreneurship Development Program. Yes, sir.
Program. IEDP, madam வந்து ஒரு consistent of 5 years அவங்க trainer-ஆ இருந்தாங்க.
Okay, sir.
So, not only that, Ministry of Skill Development Program, we call the Pradhan Mantri Yuva Yojana scheme. That scheme introduced for Tamil Nadu. Around 27 institutions from Tamil Nadu participated in that program. We had a 5 days wonderful workshop at the EDA Tamil Nadu.
Okay, sir.
So, idea generation is
such a great
nice
eminent
program.
personality எங்களுக்கு கொடுத்திருக்கீங்க sir. Yes, sir. Exactly.
Madam.
Really very happy.
Just consistently experience. No eminence.
Happy Women's Day, ma'am. Really, we are very happy today. Happy Women's Day, ma'am.
Yes,
we are very inspired by your speech, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to more, young people like you becoming entrepreneurs. That is what is the best thing that can happen to India.
Sure, ma'am. With all your blessings will come forward, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ben.
Madam, what is the speciality of this program? We want to take into activity based. Madam always tell, we are not faculty, we are faculty facilitator. So not in one line mode. We want to make into continuous learning. Sometimes the faculty, particularly Madam Sujaya Madam, during that program, 5 days program, last 2 days, you are a faculty member, now I am a student. Madam, are you able to remember that candle celebration at the last day?
Absolutely.
So based on that, in that program, we discussed many people that almost 30 participants attended, that all the participants now we are in the good position like director, CEO of the most of the incubator. You know, yes. Sivakumar sir, Pondicherry.
Yes.
Pondicherry sir. Sir, now he is a director.
He is a director. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. lot
So
of them
that
have
training
got
was
good
very
roles.
much useful. Very much useful. Thank you, Professor. Sir, we will. Sir Natarajan, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will.
Sir,
We have break
10
of
minutes.
15
We will
minutes.
wait for. Yes, yes,
We will
10
give 15
minutes.
minutes, sir. 15 minutes. 11:30 now.
15
We
minutes.
will
Once again, they will resume.
at 11:45, sir. 11:45.
Okay, 11:45.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you all
Thank you.
and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
11, sir. This is Sivan.
Sir also joined, sir.
Oh, sir,
Good morning,
joined,
sir.
huh?
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sir, good morning, sir. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning,
Yes,
professor.
very good morning, sir.
Sir, shall we,
Professor,
Natarajan, sir, shall we continue?
yes, sir. Please, sir.
So I'm
How
taking
about
leave.
Nishal?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
yes,
Please.
madam. Yes,
Thank
madam.
you. Thank you. Dr. Nishal?
Sir, yes, sir. Let me start. Thank you.
Good morning, Nishal.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Professor, shall we start?
Yes, professor. We will continue.
Sir, if you want, we can go for a break.
Yes, very good morning, sir.
If you
Actually,
want, we can go for a break because when I entered the hall, you said we'll go for a 15 minutes break. If
that's
you
why
want,
we are waiting.
I'll just wait for another 10 minutes. It's not a problem. They can refresh
Okay,
themselves
sir.
and I'll handle the
Okay,
class
sir.
after 10 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Okay.
We will start by 10:40.
Ah,
Okay,
11:40, sorry.
11:40.
Another 9 more minutes.
11:40.
Thank you.
11, sir. I have some.
Yes.
Shall I call you through mobile? I'll speak to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please. Nishal?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. 11:40 we will start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be there.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Dear participants, please join at 11:40.
Okay, sir.
Be with this screen because 11:40 we will join again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, can we start, sir? It's 11:40. Well, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Dr. Ilevel, sir. Ilevel, sir. Am I audible? Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes, sir.
joined.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very good morning to one and all present over here. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Mr. Nalathambi Sivashanmugam. So, Dr. Nalathambi Sivashanmugam has joined NIT Tiruchirappalli as an associate professor of Mechanical Engineering Department in March 2018. He has completed his BE Mechanical Engineering from Bharathidasan University 2002, followed by ME CAT-CAM degree from Anna University in 2004. He has completed his doctoral research in finite element simulation pertaining to laser beam welding process at NITT in 2012. His research targets are wire arc additive manufacturing, finite element simulation of welding process, fatigue and fracture. He has authored more than 105 papers in international and national journals and has attended conferences all over the world, mostly in Slovakia. To his credit, he has completed several projects more than crore, funded by L, Tiruchi, NLC, and DST. He is also currently working in a sponsored consultancy project, total worth of 25 lakhs, funded by VSSC ISRO Trivandrum. He has his teaching interest, on the other hand, includes strength of materials, finite element analysis, welding technology, non-destructive evaluation, and product design. It's a great pleasure to invite such a great person to our institution. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. We give the base to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for giving a nice introduction about Swish Shanmugam. And before entering into my presentations, I would like to place my sincere gratitude and thankfulness to the doctors, nurses, municipal staff, sanitary workers, collector, police, etc., who are continuously fighting hard against this coronavirus. And we are slowly coming out from this pandemic situation, and we are really enjoying these situations after 2.5 years of time. And also, I thank my friend Professor Ilevel Natarajan, professors of SVCE, Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, Sri Perumbudur, for providing me an opportunity to be a part of this orientation program on idea generation and design thinking. It is normally organized by Institution Innovation Council of SVCE Chennai. I'm very much happy to handle a session in this orientation program. And when I entered into this meeting hall, I have noticed so many people from different disciplines, and I am really wondered how I am going to feed you. Because if a person is inviting me to this type of a workshop or something about a program, I want to feed something. What is that knowledge that we have gained our institution of NIT? So we have to share this information. We have to disseminate this information to you people. But I don't know how far I am going to feed you. Anyway, I will try my level best to feed you appropriately. Those who are belonging from different disciplines, something on chemical, ECE, computer science, this is something a different or a peculiar topic. You can orient this topic to different areas. I will provide an eye opener. It may be a part of mechanical engineering or production engineering. Please don't leave this. It is only the duty of a mechanical engineer or production engineer to understand the concept. It is not like that because it is an emerging field in the world. So without additive manufacturing or the so-called 3D printing, it is very difficult to make this world a sustainable platform. So all the industries or educational institutions or the person who is doing that research, they are slowly migrating from conventional manufacturing methodologies to additive manufacturing processes. Please, the method that I'm going to follow here, I have opened it in two different systems. And one small request about the thing. So if you have any issues, please don't leave the meeting call, because it will change the moral of the people who is addressing in this forum, who is presenting in this forum. If you have any work, you please switch on that mode and you leave the meeting call. If you continuously leave the meeting hall, then my attention will be changed. So I think that so students are, that participants are attracted towards my presentation. I am speaking something blah 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 blah. It is not good for me, because whatever may be the work assigned to me, I have to provide it to 100%. So even an ECE engineer or a computer science engineer may get small sort of spark from my presentation. It's a very good thing to my caliber or the capability what I had, what I have learned during my research period at NIT Trichy. Thank you. See, I have opened it in two systems. So if you have any queries apart from this one's our research facility, anything, so I have opened it in two systems. One system I have opened the chat box. Anytime you can post your queries, and immediately I will stop the presentation. I will give the solution to your query. I will answer your query appropriately. Then only I will move to that second slide or the next slide. That is a method I am going to follow. Please make the interaction. It is a morning day. And also I thank once again Ilevel sir as well as Narajan sir for giving the thing on morning hours, because normally I have assigned the duty only on that afternoon. It is very difficult to open your eyes because your belly is filled with of khana as well as your chawal or the food. So anyway, I thank once again for giving me this opportunity, especially schedule it on morning hours. Thank you, sir. So with this thankfulness, I'll just directly getting into the part of my presentation. The topic that we have assigned, that the professors assigned to me, is something on new product development. Because it is like a book article. I think that is the title of the book anyway. It's my pleasure to give more insight, not only on the theory aspect. I am picking you to something, a different world where I am going to do some sort of practical things, and I'm going to share some sort of information, the knowledge, the experience that we have gained in our laboratory. Okay. So the title, I have reframed this title, even though it has been provided to me, is on new product development. I have changed the title according to my convenience in such a way that product development through VAM process. It is something about an acronym. If you expand it, it is called wire arc additive manufacturing. Please, I am repeatedly informing you. Please don't leave the meeting hall. If you have any issues, you please switch on that and you move the meeting hall. Slowly, if you are moving, then it will change the morale. It is my request from my side. Okay. Wire arc additive manufacturing process. Sir, what is that, sir? It is a new thing. No, it is not new thing. It is something around 100 years old. Maybe exactly if you want to speak, it is something around 101 years old technique. Sir, please tell me. So most of the thing, when we are referring some sort of literatures, or when I'm go through this YouTube videos, everywhere they are putting something about 3D printed. The models are developed using 3D printing technique. Something called the fused deposition modeling. Something with that addition of computer with the manufacturing tool. They are doing some sort of iteration and they are developing that component. It is called that additive manufacturing. Why, sir, this happened suddenly in the market? No, it is not happened suddenly in the market. I told you it is something around 101 years old. I am going to play only with the welding, a very, very normal welding process for fabricating, for developing the idea that I have coined internally or externally. The idea that may be generated internally or externally based on that market survey, based on that idea, I am going to develop that product. Clear, sir? Sir, just tell me what is the difference between 3D printing and something called additive manufacturing. But they are using it synonymously, they are using that both 3D printing and additive manufacturing. Yes, sir? Correct, sir? No. If we go into the root, Normally, if you take something on that grass, top of the grass, it is correct. But when you go to the root, sir, 3D printing is equal to additive manufacturing. No, absolutely not. If you refer any book, there will not be any explanations related to this difference. Sir, please tell me then, what is your idea? What is the difference between 3D printing and additive manufacturing? Sir, 3D printing is used only for visualizing the product. That idea that you have coined, that idea has been converted to a model. Once the model has been developed, in AutoCAD, SolidWorks, CATIA, Unigraphics, Solid Edge, whatever may be the modeling platform you are going to utilize for developing that product, you can directly feed this information to the 3D printer. What we have is the normal printer. Now they are going to use that board called the 3D printer to work something on three-dimensional, that is of X, Y, and Z, to see something, to visualize the component, to visualize that part. So you are directly feed the information through STL file to the 3D printer. What the 3D printer will do? 3D printer is having its own sources like a polymer based or a fiber based, or it may be a natural, or it may be a composite fiber. Based on the sophistication of that machine, it is going to print the model. Sir, that model you are going to visualize alone. You are not going to use that product for its purpose, for the applications. It is only for visualizing something. You are not directly put the product for its use. No, that is called 3D printed model. It is only for visualizing. But what is the additive manufacturing? On the other hand, we are using something called the powder-based technology or a wire-based technology. Don't worry. Even though it is irrelevant, please take a small hint on the paper. You can tune the idea that I'm going to provide it here. You can tune it according to your research or according to the product that you are going to develop it, my dear friends. Please take a small bit of paper. Please make a note of it. What are all the important points that I'm providing it from my mouth? You please make a note of it. Sir, in additive manufacturing, you are going to use the powder-based technology or a wire-based technology to develop the component or the part of the component. That component or that part, you can directly put it for that use. Understand the point. 3D printing is only for visualizing that component. But when you go for additive manufacturing, we have so many classification of additive manufacturing. I am not going in depth to that additive manufacturing, but I am telling something about, sir, when you go for additive manufacturing, you can develop your own component. It is not only for visualization. You can put the component for practical application. That is the main difference. If you go for 3D printing, I'll just write over here, 3D printing, the popular technique is called that FDM, fused deposition modeling. It is used for visualizing that object, correct? It is for visualizing. And when you go for that AM component, or practically you can use it for your current application. That is a major difference between 3D printing and additive manufacturing. Sir, why, sir? What is the need? Because if you go 10 years back or 20 years back, this word is not so prominent. It is not predominantly utilized by any manufacturing sector. But today, everywhere you see, it is something about a 3D printed component. Why, sir? There is a sudden change in that market scenario. For that, you have to understand, even it has been taken out from the web sources. What is that? I want to courtesy. I didn't mention about this. It is, I took something from the courtesy. I forgot to mention this one. Courtesy. It is accessed yesterday. That website is something about iEduNote. Okay. So this is very important, because if you end up with the plagiarism, nobody will help you, because it is very, very important. You have to put the courtesy. The data has been accessed on yesterday. It is something on 07/03/2022. The website name is iEduNote. Sir, what is that information? Sir, if you refer something about the new product development, irrespective of the discipline, now I am going to give something about, irrespective of the discipline, I am going to give some information. Sir, when you go for this new product development, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In some books, they have put something about 8 stages. In some book, they have mentioned something with 12 stages. But predominantly, if you refer any book of product design and development strategies, it is something called that 8 stages. 8 stages in product development. But slowly, with the advent of science and technology, we have another 4 stages that is incorporated. 4 stages are incorporated into this new product development process. So 8 stages converted to 12 stages. How? What is the need, sir? Sir, where you are going to generate the data? Sir, you are going to generate the data either internally or external sources. How, sir? How you are going to gain the data? Sir, I want to introduce some particular product to the customer. For that, what you are going to do? You are going to do the field survey. How you are going to do the field survey? Because you are getting the input from the marketing person. Sir, I am developing some sort of inhaler. I am developing some sort of soaps to that market. If we see the shape of the soaps, normal consumer product, the shape of the if you go to Lezansi, if you go to the Liril, if you go to the Hammam, if you go to the Margot, if you go to something about Pierce, if you go to something about Lux, so each one is having its own shape as well as that own profile. Why? What is the need? Sir, you have to fulfill the need of the customer. So the idea that should be generated from the market survey is called that external sources. It may be a unique idea, or during the brainstorming session, the idea may be generated internally. So there is a 2 difference in idea generation. The company comes up with many different and unique ideas based on both internal and external sources. Why is that? How internal sources will come? Because we have a R&D department. Separate R&D department is available in all the industries. They are generating that idea. What about the external sources? It is something based on the market survey. Sir, who is the responsible person? The person who is going to the market and getting the information from that market is something called that external source. That is called that idea generation. That is why if you take the Lux, it is coming in a different flavor. And once in 6 months, they are changing the platform. Some rose color, they are putting some sort of corrugations. They'll put some sort of print on that. That is the new strategy to avoid the duplication in that market. Once in 6 months or once in 3 months, they are changing the product configuration. Very, very important. That I'm going to discuss in the near future. Don't worry. That idea generation. The very important point, what I want to mean here is something about where the idea has been generated. It is taken out from internal sources and the external sources. I'll just make a note of it here. Internal as well as external. How external? Internal, it is something with the R&D. What is an external? It is something with respect to the markets. Something about what is that idea screening. Sir, we have so many ideas. The primary objective of this stage is to focus on ideas that are in line with the company's customer value and financial goals. Very, very important point. Sir, you can develop a very big product, but it should be the objective of the company. It should not be the objective of the company. Or, sir, if a company is providing the product or developing the product cost may be 100 rupees. But if the product that you are going to develop is more than 100 rupees, how the company will sustain? How to put some sort of money for developing for 1,000 rupee product? It is not like that. How you are going to screen it? According to the financial circumstances, according to the company's customer value. Sir, if you go to the Ashok Leyland, if you go to the TVS bolts, why you are depending on TVS bolts? Because they are reliable, they are aesthetically good, their load carrying capacity is predominant. So, based on the company customer value and the financial goals, you have to screen the idea from the idea generator. Clear, friends? So, first I have completed the idea generation, then coming to the part of idea screening. How we are going to screen it? The 2 points what I want to emphasize here. First one is something about company's customer value, and the second one is something about the financial goals. How to fulfill? how many products I can develop, how many numbers I can provide for a single product. 1 lakh, 2 lakh, based on the financial goals. And once the idea generated, once it has been screened, then something called that concept development and testing. That is very important. You have to test the concept, the generated idea, whether it will fulfill the need. What is that? The good product idea must be developed into a detailed product concept. Sir, it is only a spark. Sir, I want to develop a product. Sir, what is the development? I want to extrapolate the thing. The idea is only a very small spark. That you have to screen that spark, then you have to add so many techniques over that in order to develop the detailed concept with respect to the idea that you are generated. Okay, so the main part of this stage, what is that? The good product ideas must be developed into a detailed product concept that are conveyed in customer oriented teams or the terms, whatever may be the thing. So the next thing after idea screening is something about the concept development and testing. Then you have to put it for the marketing strategy. What method? So the company tries to come up with the strategies to introduce a promising product into that market. See, the very simple thing. If you watch the Vijay TV, so if they are introducing a new thing, what is that? 1.5 months before itself, they are giving some sort of promos. Bahubali 2. That is something on April 30th, 2022. So Triple R, next year, 2023 April, from today onwards, they are starting that promo because they want to make the product sustainable in that market. So everyone, they are catching that attention of all the viewers towards that area. See, what is the purpose of giving out that promo, teaser, etc., in order to tune you, in order to get your attention towards that product. Clear, friends? That is something happening on that market strategy development. And then they are going for business development. What is that? To projected sales and revenue and also assess the risk towards this stage. Sir, if I'm introducing this product, whether it will fulfill the need of the customer or you are getting some sort of adverse effect. If you are getting the adverse effect, how to get the feedback, how to suppress that negative effect about that product. That is something called that business analytics. That is the 5th stage. And the 6th stage is something about the complete product development. Product concept to be in line with the goals of the company and issues green light for that development. Sir, it should be a conjunction between the concept development and testing and the product development. It should meet the company's customer need and also it should match the goals of the company and it provide a very good development about that product. That is called the product development. Clear? And going for the market testing. First itself, you are sending some small samples, sending the samples to that market, whether the customers are showing their full interest to getting that material from that market. So slowly they are pumping the products into the market. Once it is fully acceptable by the customer, then they are going for commercialization. See, very beautiful process. What is that? If you test it, if your product will speak in that market, then they are going for patterning. Subsequently, they are going for raising that price once in a 3 months or once in a 4 months. So newly, the Yamaha introduced so many bikes into the market. Slowly, Fascino. Previously, the Fascino rate is something around 85,000 rupees. Now, if you go and see that so many colors of Fascino, Yamaha Fascinos are available with the different colors and the values are very close to that 1 lakh rupees. Recently, I have procured Yamaha Aerox. It is a newly developed component, newly developed bike. It is like a scooter model, but all the accessories are belonging to the bike. So they are changing that bike to the scooter model and they have raised that price from 1 lakh to 1,55,000 rupees. Day before yesterday, I have procured that Yamaha Aerox. The only thing is they are testing out. They are providing only 3 or 4 bikes in a showroom. Once they are getting out the pay, once the customers are paying their attentions, they are going for commercialization. So it is like a chain reaction. It is like a loop. Correct, friends? Totally 8 stages are that. But when you are going for advancement of science and technology, this thing you can put, I can take some sort of input to this. What are all the other 4 stages? You can go for extensive research. What is that? It may be an academic research, or it may be an institutional research, or it may be an organizational research. So if we see something about the foreign countries, all the ideas that are generated only from the academic institution. If they are doing some sort of modifications to that product, they will once again approach to the concerned professor. The professor will pay the attention for doing the development of that product. So there is a beautiful conjunction between the institute and industry. Whatever the development they are making out in the industry, without the help of the academic institutions, nothing will happen, especially in the foreign countries. But India, they are slowly migrating towards that concept. Industry people are playing like an industrial role. Academicians, they are doing something about the academic role. Why A-levels are inviting me? I want to put some sort of thing. Instead of publishing a paper in 15 impact factor, sir, I have published a paper of 15 impact factor. What is the use? But if you work towards some sort of product development that will fulfill the need of the industry, automatically your idea will get some sort of recognition through patent. So once your patent is commercialized, you will get crores and crores of money in your bank account. Correct? See, what is that? 8 stages. Now I am slowly introducing the concept of 9th one. That is called the research. It may be academic research or it may be of organizational research. So you are going to see something about the demand for the service as well as the product. Based on the demand, you are sending the component, you are sending the product to that market. That is called the research. And with the help of CAD, what is the CAD? Computer aided design. You can do some small of modification based on that market survey that is not previously available. So 9th one is some sort of research and 10th one is of the computer aided design. What is a computer aided design? Is something you are giving some sort of value added to that existing design or the existing product. You are adding some sort of things to that product. It may be a delta increment, but that delta increment will rule the product in the market. That is the purpose of introducing a CAD models into that product. Correct, sir? Developing a new CAD model, refinement of the design through CAD. Okay. And the 11th one, see, in the 11th one, it is called computer aided manufacturing. The so-called computer aided manufacturing and prototype evaluation. Peak, because the spaces are so limited, you please make a note of it, friends. It is called CAM and prototype evaluation. So these are all judging that whether it will fulfill the need of the customer. How they are going for developing the prototype model? By utilizing the technique called 3D printing. Sir, now you are coming in line with your presentation. Yes. For that only I have introducing this stages here. 9th one is the research. 10th one is something about the design. Directly I am coupling the design with respect to the CAM, computer aided manufacturing, and developing the prototype model by using the 3D printer, by using the technique called fused deposition modeling for visualizing the component. And the last stage is something called that manufacturing and assembly. So now I have converted these 8 stages to my own design, to my own development of the product. What are the things? I have introduced the concept called the research. What is the research? To see the quality of the product that is sustainable in the market. Sir, why you are repeatedly telling that word sustainable? Sir, it is very, very important. We are working towards sustainable manufacturing, sustainable system, green technology. Why? Sir, you are not supposed to depend on any other countries. You have to develop your indigenous product, because then only your engineering, your method will be a sustainable one in the market. So research, and then I am going to introduce the CAD model here for something doing a lot of manufacture, a lot of modification in the design. If I want to visualize, sir, I have modified something and I want to visualize something about the modified design, then you can go for 3D printing technology for prototype evaluation through CAM, computer aided manufacturing, and finally you can go for manufacturing your component, that is called manufacturing slash assembly, manufacturing and assembly. So this will rule for n number of products, for any product with respect to that any discipline. I repeat once again, now I am going to add why I am going to take this additive manufacturing, why I have discussed more about the new product design development. What is that here? First, we have that idea generation. Second one, your idea screening. And third one is of the concept development and testing. Fourth one is of marketing survey, marketing strategy development. And the fifth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth one is of the business analytics. And sixth one is of the product development. And seventh one is of the market testing or marketing, something about that related to that market. And eighth one is of the commercialization. Slowly, I am incorporating this research, CAD, CAM, and prototype and that assembly. Sir, in the next slide, I am going to speak more about that research. I am going to speak more about that manufacturing method of how I am going to add this CAD and CAM for developing the component. Clear? See, when you go with this type of agenda, first, before going into this agenda, I'll just tell something about the research. Sir, I am basically a chemical engineer. Sir, I can do some sort of experimentation. Sir, if you are doing some sort of experimentation, please believe yourself. You are writing an article, you are going to supposed to write a technical report, even you are going for a product development, you have to use that word appropriately. When you are going to do some sort of experimentation, what is the word you have to emphasize is something about the measurement. Sir, you have to measure something. Sir, I am measuring that voltage. I am measuring that current. I am measuring the resistance offered by the body. So I am utilizing some sort of experimentation for measuring something. So experimental trials are carried out to measure something. Please listen carefully, friends, because as I go through the names of the professors who are attending this program or belonging to academic fraternity, academic institutions, you have to use the word correctly, because you are the platform. You are going to create a platform to the new coming researchers, for the forthcoming researchers. Correct? Experimentation, because it is something called the truth. So without experimentation, it is very difficult to fulfill the research. Correct, friend? So when you go for this experimentation, what is the appropriate word you have to use it? Sir, experimental trials are conducted to measure something. It may be a pressure, it may be a voltage, or it may be something, an output of the process, whatever may be the thing. The word that you have to use it is something called experimentation, carry out or conducted for measuring. I have used the word. Please make a note of it. I'll just write over here. Measuring or the measurement. I use that word measure. Sir, it's very difficult because I have my own idea, sir. For that, there is no experimentation. Yes, good. So most of the IIC Bangalore professors, they are working towards analytical technique. How, sir? Excuse me. Sir, my idea, it's very difficult to make it in experimentation form. Then what is the thing you can do? Sir, I can do some sort of analytical things. How analytical? You can write your problem with the help of the governing equations. Correct, sir? With the help of the governing equations, I can develop my problem. I can apply the boundary conditions to that governing equations and I can solve that problem. That is something towards that analytical studies. Sir, analytical calculations. You are analytically calculating something. Please don't use that word measuring. Sir, analytically I am measuring something. It's absolutely wrong. Please don't use that word. Very, very important word. It is not provided in any books, friends. It is coming out from the experience that I gained during all these days. Analytical studies. You are using some sort of governing equations to develop the product. See, in this case, what is that? You are doing some sort of research. In some sort of research, I want to teach something about, sir, I want to develop some concept. How the concept will come? It is based on the equation. If it is coming with respect to the equations, you have something called the governing equation. Without governing equations, you are not going to do anything with respect to the analytics. Correct, friends? So, analytical studies, you are playing only with the equations. In the analytical equations, you are going to apply the boundary conditions, inlet conditions, etc., etc., for calculation, for calculating the pressure, for calculating the temperature, for calculating the voltage, for calculating the current, whatever may be the thing, you are using the governing equations for calculating. Very important point. Sir, analytical calculations, you are doing analytically for calculating something. It is not measuring. Sir, analytical also not possible, sir. It's impossible, sir. Analytical is impossible for my research problem. Sir, experimentation is also ruled out. Analytical studies I can try, but I am not supposed to put all my efforts for calculating something. Then, sir, I have a very good idea on MATLAB. I have a very good idea on Simulink. I have a very good on Python. I have very good on Fortran subroutines. I am having a capability of writing program on Fortran subroutines. I am having a very good idea on developing a Python script, Python programming using C, C++. You can write your own code for simulating the process. Understand that point. Simulations are performed. What is that? Numerical simulations are performed to predict. Information is what I want to put here. It is something called the prediction. It is not calculation. It is not measurement. Please understand that point, my dear friends. That's why I am taking this lecture through this medium. Understand that point. Numerical simulations are performed. Numerical simulations are performed to predict the temperature, to predict the pressure, to predict the velocity, to predict the current, to predict the voltage difference, etc., etc. Sir, you said something about experimentation. You are measuring something. Analytical studies, you are doing something for calculation. And numerical simulation, you are using the commercial software like a Simulink or MATLAB or something on ANSYS, Abacus, Nastron, Patron, NASA, COMSOL, Abacus, etc. So many things are available. But what is the purpose? It is for predicting. Whether this is sufficient, sir? No, absolutely not. If you are numerically simulating something, you have to validate your results. Your validation should be either experimentally or with the previous literature, or you have to do some sort of analytical executions. Correct, friends? Please understand that point. Otherwise, your work will not be accepted at any cost. Numerical simulations are performed to predict the temperature, to predict the pressure, to predict the velocity distribution. That should be validated either by experimentally, preliminary experimental results, or with the previously published literature, or with the analytical studies that you are going to do it. Clear? This is how I am going to conduct with my problem. Now, you have an idea about what is the product development, what are the stages, what are the new incorporation to the product development, and what is being something about by that research, maybe something about that experimentation, maybe something about the analytical studies, maybe something with respect to the numerical simulation part. Now, coming to that part of the product development through that van. Sir, you said something about wire arc additive manufacturing. What is that, sir? What is that wire and arc additive manufacturing? Classification of additive manufacturing, and what about the process flow? What about the application, advantages, capabilities, and where we are standing? Something on idea generations, Once the idea is generated, how you are going to think it, how you are going to implement. For that, I am going to provide the solution to you. See, coming to this introduction part, sir, I think I have moved the slide introduction. It is that you can see it in your. Otherwise, I'll come out because there is some small connectivity. Okay, sir, introduction. We have, when you want to define anything, you have to depend only on with respect to the standards. Correct? Without standard, it's very difficult to develop any product, any component, or any assembly. What about the standard? American Society of Testing of Materials or Testing of Metals, whatever may be the thing, has defined additive manufacturing as a process of joining materials to make objects from three-dimensional model data. As I discussed with you, we have the research, we have the CAD model. After that, we are going for CAM, computer-aided manufacturing, and the prototype evaluation. What is that prototype evaluation? That is something about your 3D model data is directly going to feed with respect to the CAM module, and it is directly giving into the machine tool for developing the component. Sir, why, sir, you are telling this one here? See, friends, why this additive manufacturing? What is the purpose of this additive manufacturing? Please, I just want to explain one beautiful scenario, what is drastically happening in this world. If we go to the 30 years back or 40 years back, there is a design engineer, separate design engineer, separate draftsman, and a production engineer or the shop floor engineer, whoever may be the thing. There is a chain. That it is not like a loop. See, the design engineer, what is that? Idea generation, conceptualization, everything. Once the idea has been generated by the design engineer, the design is given to the draftsman. He or she can develop the 2D sketches of the idea of the design of the component. Correct, friends? Correct? After the draftsman provided the design, developed the design based on the 2D drawings, it is directly given to the shop floor engineer or the production manager. So the duty of the shop floor manager, or what about the manufacturer, what he or she will do, he is taking the 3D sketches and he is going to interpret the drawing. Sir, after continuous interpreting of the drawing, what normally will tell, sir, if there is a design is something about odd, if the design is very, very odd design, sir, if the hole diameter is something about 11.5, there is no separate tool available in the shop floor for drilling a hole of 11.5. Correct, friends? Please come in line with my presentation, in line with my discussion. Design engineer developed the design. It is given to the draftsman for complete drawing. Once the drawings are provided to the manufacturer, he is going to interpret the drawing. Interpretation of the drawing is taking so much of time. After interpretation, he or she came to know that it is something about an odd design. What will do? Once again, the design is given to the design engineer for redesigning. So the time taken for making the product and make the product to the reality and reach the product to the market. So minimum of 1 year for implementing the product and sending the product to the customer. Correct? This is that scenario happened 40 years back. Slowly, when we are undergone our MTech, something on 2000 and 2002, a beautiful principle introduced in the market called concurrent engineering. What is that? See, the problem, it is like a open loop. So design engineer, draftsman, a manufacturer is finding a fault in the design, is once again giving back to the design engineer for reworking. But when you go for introducing the principle called concurrent engineering, please make a note of it, friends. It is a very important topic. It is a right way I am going to define it here. Concurrently, it is like a brainstorming session. A single room, they are picking the people from different parts of the industry. A representative from finance, a representative from the administration, a representative from the market, a marketing personnel, that is of MBA graduate, a person from the production engineer, production or the shop floor, a person from the draftsman side, a person from something called the design department. So all the people are sit together. They are finding the solution of the problem. They'll put the design. They'll go for brainstorming the design. and they automatically they will know about the financial implications related to that product. He'll get the concurrence from the finance people. Administration directly they will provide the administrative approval, and if there is a problem in the design, it will be clarified as and when required by the design engineer through the design, and it will be directly given to the manufacturer. Correct, friends? So the problem will be sorted out as and when required by introducing the concept called concurrent engineering. It is not that, I am assuring you, if you refer any book, this concurrent engineering principle, it is given in a separate entity, but it is not given in the new product development, I am damn sure. Please make a note of it. Once you are introducing this concurrent engineering, still there is a problem. What is the problem? Sir, you have to reach the material timely you have to reach the market. Otherwise, your competitor will put their product in that market, and it may be you will not gain the reputation, but your competitor will gain the reputation. Sir, still if you introduce the concurrent engineering principle, my product is not a sustainable one. My competitor is going in a drastic manner. Slowly, they are migrating towards that additive manufacturing. Sir, what is the, I am not getting out that point. You said the problems are sorted out, but what is the conventional technique they are following? Design engineer separately, draftsman separately, manufacturer separately. But if you give the conjunction between design, draftsman, and the manufacturing in a single machine tool, a single person can handle the design as well as the manufacturing. Then you can reach the material, reach your product easily, and you can fulfill the need of the customer. Once it is fulfilled, you will get the satisfaction of the customer, and your product will play a predominant role in the market. Correct, friends? I'm getting out that point. Whether my points are reachable to you, please anybody open your chat box and put your queries. Sir, I have still some fault in your presentation. Please, we can go for an argument. Please open your chat box and type something to me. Sir, it's clear. It's well known to me. You please proceed further. Sir, otherwise I have some sort of contradiction to your statement. There is some misspell in your presentation. Like that, if you have anything, you please post your query. I am eagerly waiting for your query. I have opened the chat box. Please, friends, please, anyone. Harish or any. Gayatri, thank you, ma'am. It's clear. Others, I'm waiting for your response. Friends. See, great. Thank you, ma'am, for your good feedback. And even though the concurrent engineering has been introduced into the product, still you are getting some sort of time in order to reach your product to that market. To avoid that, the new techniques, the new machine tools are developed in order to avoid a separate person for doing the design, a separate person for doing the manufacturing. A single person, if he is having an idea, then the idea may be generated quickly and developed in the CAD model, and it is directly given to the CAM and for that manufacturing. Clear? So, ASTM, don't worry. I am going to give it in terms of video. Don't worry about it. Sir, ASTM has defined additive manufacturing as a process of joining materials to make objects from three-dimensional model data, usually layer upon layer. Sir, how you are going to build the material? Sir, it is a very simple. If you want to construct your house, how you are building your wall? First you are putting the brick, then you are putting the mortar. Once again you are placing that brick. Once again you are putting that mortar. Like that, you are going to build the component according to the dimensions. You are going to lay layer by layer, one over the other, one above the other, one over the other. Correct? Usually layer upon layer, as opposed to subtractive manufacturing methodology. Sir, I am not getting out that point. I am basically a chemical, I am basically a computer science people. Sir, subtractive manufacturing means what is that? It is like creating a Vinayagar statue from the stone. You have to beat it, you have to remove the metal and remove the stone, and you have to create the sculpture of the Vinayagar, Lord Muruga, Lord Saraswati. It is called subtractive type. It is opposite to the additive type. Additive type means you are going to lay by lay the material and you are going to build the product. But what is the opposition? Subtractive, you are going for a conventional machining methods. You are going to remove the material for creating the structure. So the removed material is something about a wastage. That wastage material will not be reused. So what happened? This material wastage will also add to the product cost. Correct? Yes or no, friends? Please understand that point. What I want to mean here, I want to gain the reputations. For that, I want to sell the product in the market with the minimal cost. How to reduce the cost of the material? You have to reduce the wastage. If you reduce the wastage of the material, automatically you will gain more profit with respect to that product. How to reduce the wastage? Instead of going for subtractive type, if you go for additive type, you can reduce the material wastage. Correct, friends? Additive manufacturing is a methodology, is a technology that promises to reduce part cost by reducing material wastage and time to market. Very, very important point. This is the main advantages of AM. Point number one and point number two. Why is the time to market? Because a single person can handle design and manufacturing. He can directly send the product to that market very easily. In the VAM process, three-dimensional metallic. What is that VAM? Wire and arc additive manufacturing. 3D metallic components are built by depositing beads of weld metal in a layer by layer fashion. It is clearly explained in this picture, which is depicted here. You see, sir, I want to create a wall of 45 degree. Yes, sir. See, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7, layer 8, layer 10. So many layers you can build it with a different angle. That is a beauty. See, the different angle you can change it, sir. It is something about very close to 45 degree, very close to that 80 degree, and it is almost 90 degrees, sir. The beauty of this process, you can go for a different orientation. Finally, wire and arc additive layer manufacturing can be used to deposit a variety of materials that can be welded, such as steel, nickel alloy, titanium alloy. Sir, what is that word I am using here? I am using that word called additive manufacturing, and I am not using that word 3D printing now, because 3D printing is only for a polymer based. Here I am talking something about the metal based technology. You can develop this component and you can directly put the component for its assembly. So you can develop, you can manufacture it, you can put the product for its use. That is the beauty of this additive manufacturing. Okay, well, sir, I'll just skip this part one. What is that? Already I have told you it is not a new technique. It was really introduced in the year of 1920 by Baker Modern Welding and Automation. So it is not previously available. So today is something about 2022. So it is not a new technology. It is very old technology, but we are reinventing the wheel once again today for our application. So although wire added additive layer manufacturing process has been around for almost a century, the first patent was filed in the year of 1920 by Baker Modern Welding and Automation Technologies, provide opportunity that were not previously available. Sir, super, sir. So you are using only the normal welding method. Yes, sir, I am not. I am using only the. Sir, what about the components? What are the requirements you are in need of for making out this additive manufacturing? Sir, I need only the arc welding machine, sir. I need only the filler wire. Once it is coupled, this filler wire, if it is coupled with the robo or with the MIG wire or the MIG welding machine, so you can create the layers. So you can create the layer by layer. You can create your own layers and you can create your own configuration of that metal. Correct, sir? So high deposition rate, low high deposition rate, because there is a problem in that screen scanning. Although the high deposition rate, low material and equipment cost, and good structural integrity make wire arc additive manufacturing is a suitable candidate for replacing the current method of manufacturing from solid billets. As I told you, if you want to get the sculpture of that Vinayaka, you have to beat the stone and you have to remove the stone and you have to keep the structure. Same thing from solid billets or large forgings. especially with regards to low and medium complexity parts. Sir, I am not getting out that point. Sir, you said something about subtractive manufacturing methodology. You said something about the additive manufacturing methodology. Sir, I am not finding out the difference. Don't worry. This will be clearly explained with this slide. Please make a note of it, friends. Please make a note of it. It is also not clearly explained in any book. What is that B to fly ratio? Why you are insisting as it is providing only the less material cost? Additive manufacturing, you have only the less material wastage, but in subtractive type, you are claiming that more material has been wasted. Why, sir? How, sir? Sir, please listen that words available in the slide. BTF ratio is defined as the ratio of volume or mass of the initial workpiece to that of the finished product. See, sir, I want to create this component. Understand that point? I want to create this component. This component length is something around 3 feet. Height is something around 2 feet. Thickness is something around thickness T is equal to 1 feet. So if you want to create this component, I want to machine it from a big block. Correct, friends? I want to machine it from a big block. It is called the conventional manufacturing methodology. Please understand. So when you go for this block, what is the size of the block? Size of the block should be more than that of the product dimensions. Sir, it may be of 4 feet, something about 3 feet, and the thickness should be around 2 feet. Then only you can do the manufacturing 3 feet cross 2 feet cross 1 feet product. Correct, friends? Is it possible to understand? Please make a note of it. Sir, you are going to waste more material. How much material you are going to waste it? Sir, 1 feet along the length, another 1 feet along the width, another 1 feet along the thickness, you are going to waste it for completing the component. That is the ratio which indicates that dimensions by to fly ratio. Mass initial divided by mass final. Please understand that point. It is not explained in any books. I am not exaggerating the explanations that I am going to present it here. No, because I am disseminating that information that what I have learned. See, the by to fly ratio, that is of mass initial divided by the mass final. So, for example, 10 kg of the block, it is reduced only to 5 kg. So, 5 kg of material you are going to waste it. Correct, friends? So, what is the ratio we have? 2:1. Sir, 2 times you have to procure the raw material, but the final product what you are getting is only 1 kg. 2 kg, you are getting only with respect to that 1 kg. Mass initial divided by the mass final. But when you go for additive manufacturing, you see, that is the slide, first slide I have shown here. This is the component that we have built using VAM process. After that, we have machined it. Because without machining, we are not getting the finish of the component. If you want to finish it, you have to get some sort of preliminary or the peripheral machining is required. The ratio what you are going to get, if you take 2 kg of that VAM product, the final output will be something around 1.5 kg. Or 2 kg final product, you are going to machine it, only 200 grams you are going to waste it. Please understand that point. This is before machining, this is after machining. Whatever may be the component, any component, it may be a kit or it may be a tool kit, whatever may be the component. See, this is called that by to fly ratio. Mass initial, mass final. It is also clearly given in this picture. An aluminum has been laid, aluminum filler wire has been laid above the pipe. It is before machining, it is after machining. You are not supposed to differentiate. Right? It is developed by you or you are procured from that market. That is the beauty of that bag. So now what I want to give something on by to fly ratio is of mass initial by mass final. If we take that VAM product or additive manufacturing product, only few grams are wasted. This few grams you can add on to the product cost. Clear? So by to fly ratio is defined as the ratio of the volume or mass of the initial workpiece to that of the finished product. By to fly ratio depends on how close the shape of forgings or ingots are to the shape of the finished component. Clear, friends? So this is called the bifurcation. Coming to the part of the classification, you see, we have a beam technology, we have a wire arc, that is of arc technology. What is the arc? We have the arc welding, we have the laser, we have a laser, we have an electron. If we use the wire as the filler wire, then it is called the selective wire. It is coming under the metal arc additive manufacturing or that laser melting, something called. When you go for the powder based technology, we call it as selective laser melting, direct laser fabrication, because these processes are very, very expensive. But what is the advantages of the laser as well as electron beam? You can get the precise component, you can get a very, very small component. But when you go for the other hand, we have an arc. In that, you can go with that MIG, TIG, plasma, whatever may be the power source. You can feed the filler wire to develop the wire and arc additive manufacturing. Sir, so far you have showcased only with respect to that theory. Tell me, now I am going to play that video. See? So this is the slide. This is the video which will showcase how the product has been manufactured through laser by powder. Correct, sir? Sorry, through powder by laser technique. So by laser, you are going to melt the powder and you are going to create the component. Please understand. Now I'll play the video. So a single person, it is called SLM, selective laser melting. What is that? A single person will act as a design engineer. He is going to feed the design and he is going to manufacturing the component through this single machine. So he is going to incorporate the design, the product model into the machine. So wherever the product is available, the laser is going to scan it and is going to melt the material. Upon solidifications, you are getting out that product. So you are depositing the layer of powders, a single layer. Remove the unmelted powder from that layer for reusing. So the laser is going to scan and is going to melt the So the laser power is ranging between 400 watts and 1 kilowatt, and you can play with the micron level because the powders what you are getting in terms of nano powders, micro powders, so you can get a very precise and very small component. So they are going to use that vacuum, sucking the unmelted powder, So once it is sucked out, the melted, that is a solidified component is available. So at a stretch, it is something based on the design of the platform available in the machine. You have 4x4, 16 impellers are available in a single stretch. You can go for peripheral machining in order to get the finish of the component. So directly you are not supposed to use it. You can go for sintering or you can go for peripheral machining for developing the component using so many materials: titanium, aerospace, aluminum for power plant engineering, For plant engineering, you are having, and dental implants. Sir, if an opportunity comes, I have another beautiful lecture with me. Dental implants, how the models are developed, cobalt chromium, dental crowns, impeller for automotive applications, stainless steel filters. But the only thing is you have to put so much of money for procuring this machine or maintaining this machine, and you are playing with the powders. It is not coming under the green technology. On the other hand, you see, we have another beautiful process. What I am going to climb here, a wire and dark additive manufacturing. See, there is a substrate. I'll just close it, because normally when you want to add some material, you need some sort of plate. Correct, sir? Some plate. Above the plate only you are going to grow the material. Correct? So I kept the substrate with a clamped position. After that, I am going to feed the filler wire. I am going to deposit the filler wire. Once it is solidified, you will get the component. How beautifully they are developing this thing. So for understanding purpose, I have showcased only the video here, which is giving out that information of we are creating a single wall. So normal milling machine, filler wire, normal stainless steel or a mild steel. You are going to deposit the layer and layer of beads one over the other to get the complete wall. So this is a technology. This video will provide an information how the models are developed. It is a simple form. Now I'll go to some of the application area where you can directly build the component. See, this entire bridge, something around 2021, this entire structure, this entire civil structure, this entire bridge has been developed through this VAM process, through this additive manufacturing, a 3D printed steel bridge. If you put steel bridge, wire and dark additive manufacturing, you can see this one, how gradually they are developing the structure. Not only this type of a structure, you see the bicycle frame, it was developed by the MX 3D team, used this technology to print the 3D print an aluminum bike frame. Not only this one, you can see that crane hook. It is something about the Rotram anti-manufacturing field lab. They have developed this component especially for around utilizing something around 400 kg. The VAM pillar, what is that? Wire and arc additive manufacturing crane hook uses 298 layers of nickel, aluminum, bronze alloy and weighs something around 400 kg. The part was completed in 7 months. Demonstrating the potential of VAM to optimize the production of future vessel component. See, it is not only giving some sort of information to you friends, but also what is the purpose, why you are in need of this VAM and all those things. Sir, coming to the process flow, how the process has been carried out. Sir, coming to the CAD, already I have made something about the idea generation up to the commercialization. But when you go for this implication of VAM, introducing the CAM, introducing this type of additive manufacturing method in the shop floor, what is the thing you have to do it? Sir, first you have to create the CAD model, understand the part. First you have to develop the CAD model and add some extra portion because you have to do the peripheral machine. In order to get the finish of the component, you have to go for a finish of the component. You are going for peripheral machine. For that, you add a cushion effect. For example, if the wall thickness is something around 1 mm, you add 1.1 mm as a thickness because this 0.1 will be removed during the peripheral machine. Okay, peripheral machining. Design adjustment of the VAM. This is a very, very important thing. I want to thank this FIT Additive Manufacturing Group Berlin. So without the help of this picture, it's very difficult to define the process flow. So design adjustment for VAM, then give it to the CAM for CAM tool pathing, computer aided manufacturing tool pathing, and assign the process parameter. What are the process parameters? You see, it is something on that welding current, building speed, etc., assign the process parameter and go for that VAM manufacturing. Side by side, you can go for the numerical simulation in order to understand the stresses induced in that body. Sir, why you are talking something about the stresses? Because whenever you are building the material, you are heating the material and you are going to solidify the material. So there is a change in the temperature. Because of the drastic change in the temperature, stresses are induced in the body. So to relieve the stresses, you have to change the process parameter appropriately to develop the component. And after that VAM manufacturing, you are going to measure that shape deformation using the NDT technique and go for CNC machining, and the product will be delivered to the customer through quality check. So this is how the new product has been developed through that additive manufacturing route. There is no problem associated with the material wastage. You can reach the market within the stipulated time. You can redesign at any time, at any cost. That is the beauty of this additive manufacturing. And if you go inside, if you go further, what is exactly happening here, where you are implementing this type of CAD models? First, you are developing the CAD models in the design software, create the three-dimensional model, 3D digital model, and put the digital model for different inspections and complete milling. After finishing the component, you can deliver it to the customer. Create 3D digital model data using that CAD software. After that, you can go for manufacturing through VAM. You can put that VAM, create it. After that, you can go for a NDT technique to measure the dimensions of that body. Then go for machining. When you go for machining, your final product will be ready, available in that hand. You can put that product to the market. Clear, friends? And coming to that, sir, you have any case study? Yes, sir, I have a case study. If I'm using an improper filler wire, if I'm using a defective filler wire, because that is the feedstock. Sir, if I want aluminum material, then the filler wire should be of aluminum. Sir, if I want the stainless steel, the filler material should be of stainless steel. So the CAD model, the wire, if it is a defective wire, then it will be directly indicated in the component. See, it is a defect-free wire. It is a defective wire. We have so many pores are available. If we directly give it to the product after VAM, after layer by layer manufacturing, if I inspect it, you can see you are end up with so many porosities. But the same thing, if you have a defect-free filler wire, if you make it VAM, then you are not getting out that porosity in a higher number. So this article, this paper, this information has been extracted from Rayon et al. It has been published in the Journal of Materials Processing Technology. Okay, sir. Sir, I am not only playing with that material, sir. I am also playing with the human body. Slowly in the new product development, where you can go for utilizing the VAM for developing the prosthetic components. What are the prosthetic components? It is available as a ready recliner. So if I want to see the knee, sir, I am going for a knee transplantation. Sir, I want to go for an artificial knee. How the knees are developed, how the crowns, how the dental implants are developed, how the ankle prosthetic components are developed. Slowly, additive manufacturing are entering into this field for developing the components. So it is available in like the shoes. If you go to the Bata, if you go to something in an Ashpapi showroom, you can reach it. Sir, what is the size you want? 8, 9, and 10, like that. If you go to the medical field, if you want to go for a surgery, then the doctor will ask you what is the size you want. It is available in the market. You can procure it and you can go for a surgery. So ankle replacement involves replacing the damaged parts of the 3 bones that make up the ankle joint with the artificial joint parts, that is called the prosthetic components made of high quality metal. What is a high quality metal? How it is developed? Using that additive manufacturing. The parts are typically held in place by bone cement. The artificial joints come in different sizes. It is like a shoe sizes. It is like a chappal size. In different sizes to fit the passion. So according to the passion requirement, you can develop the component and you can fit it for that purpose. See, another beautiful value, it will highlight how beautifully the process has been added, how material has been added through this additive manufacturing. A single shot, shot, each shot, it is going on adding the material, one over the other, one above the other, correct? So this is how you are creating the structure, okay? And when you said, I want to make it, sir, whether this process, okay, you are telling something about the additive manufacturing that is going to play a predominant role in manufacturing sector. It is the only role. You are going to develop only a new component. No, sir, absolutely not. This picture will give an idea. So these three blades are available in the thing. This is 1, 2, 3. The third blade is additively manufactured. It is called repairing. What do you mean by repairing of welds? Sir, for example, if the fan, this is one fan, it consists of 3 blades. Unfortunately, what will happen? One blade has been removed. One blade has some sort of weird component, so it should be removed. Instead of replacing the entire fan, what we can do, you can remove the defected that is of the fan which is having some sort of, the blade which is having some sort of defect, it may be removed from it, and you can put the robo, or you can lay the robo very near to this model, and you can lay the material for creating the same blade configuration. It is extensively used for that repairing of filaments, region growing. You are going to add some more material to that existing structure. The only process available in this world for repairing and that new product development, repairing of new product, is something called that wire and dark additive manufacturing. Here, this is the point I want to emphasize. This is a very beautiful thing, and I'll just put so many things over here. This is called, and when you go for this powder manufacturing, the powder, that is a laser-based additive manufacturing, you are putting the paper powder, placing the powder on the ground, you are depositing, and you are scanning the laser. But when you go for the additive manufacturing, you can go with a different orientation. That is the only process available in that world. Please don't think that every time he is telling the same thing. No, it is all the advantages of this additive manufacturing. So when you go for that 2G position, you can build the material. When you go for 3G position, it is also you can build the material. You can build that 3G position, you can move from bottom to top or from top to bottom. That is the capability of this van. Clear? And coming to the part of NIT Trichy, sir, whether you have this technology available. Yes, sir, I have this technology available at NIT Trichy. I think Eleven sir has noticed this technology, and we have developed the product for him, and we have delivered it to him for further characterization. We have a beautiful 6-axis robo with MIG welding machine, and this is how it has been captured. The droplet formation, you see, you can use the high-speed camera for how the droplets are coming out from the filler wire. This is how the droplets are formed at the tip of the electrode and deposited on the layers. Okay, so we have a variety of components, we have a variety of filler wire in our laboratory. In Conal we have created this wall, and in Conal we have played, and the next one we have used the aluminium, and also we have go. I want to increase the conductivity of the material. Then you can go for copper. You are depositing the copper on the stainless steel. That also possible with the help of this VAM and titanium, aluminum, any material. If the material is having in the filler form, you can play that filler wire using this robotic MIG welding machine. See, this is something called that, as I told you, the peripheral machining is required. So this is half machined, it is kept as it is. So after complete machining, it is very difficult to see, hey, it is developed in the laboratory or you have procured. It is developed extensively in our laboratory. Okay. Like this, I have so many things. Because of insufficient time, I am unable to give all the ideas to you. And we also carried out. So with the help of this literature, that is of Roman et al., we have made some sort of analytical studies. We have studied analytically for calculating the residual stresses. And these are all the formulas we have utilized for calculating the stresses. And also, as I am a finite element simulation man and welding, I want to implement this finite element simulation for numerical simulation, for predicting the temperature as well as the stresses. This is the base paper I have utilized for doing the simulation, and with the help of this literature, we have made the simulation using our ANSYS package, ANSYS parametric design language, and we have clearly identified what about the stresses. You see, when one process is going on, you see the distortion on the substrate. It is not like a flat surface what we kept previously. Because of the higher heat input, it absorbs that heat. Because of that heat input, the total material has been distorted. This is the beauty of that simulation. Okay, so what is the point I want to emphasize here? Whenever you are going for a product development, it is not only of idea that you are going to generate, you are going to implement that idea. Then only your idea will speak in the market. Market means it is something through the literature, through the paperwork, or through the product development. Okay, so in that I have taken out a different area. One is of experimentation, second one of analytical studies, and the third one is of the numerical simulation. So I have not taken out everything from the literature. So the experience, we have made the simulation, we have performed the simulations, we have calculatedly, we have measured the thickness of that wall using experimentation, and also we have used the calculations for calculating the stresses, etc., etc. Okay, and coming to that end of the, because we almost crossed 1 o'clock, so your lunch is approaching to you. I am not taking it to further. So without the help of these references, it's very difficult to make these presentations. I want to, from my bottom of the heart, I want to thank all the professors who have enlightened me to understand the capability of the RAM through these literatures, and I also thank the Cranfield University, who are the initiator of this RAM process. And for that, I want to put my thanks. Without their information, it's very difficult to make this presentation. And with this single rose, because I want to provide a bunch of rose to you, with this single rose, I put my thanks to you. And I also thank the organizer of this orientation program for idea generation and design thinking. And not only thinking, it is going to implement. If you use that additive manufacturing, you can implement your idea as a real product. And I want to thank Natarajan sir as well as Ilevel sir for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Professor Natarajan,
sir.
Nishal.
Sir, he's just on the way. He's there. Sir, I think Natarajan sir's mic is slightly not working, I guess.
Okay, sir. Okay. Ninga vote of thanks.
Hello. Yes, audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Natarajan. Yes, please.
Yes.
Audible.
Yes. Respected professor and speaker of this session. Am I audible, sir? Level, sir?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Yes, sir.
Speaker
Audible.
of this session, faculty and staff members of this institution and associate institution. Good afternoon to all present here. So, behalf of IAC SVC Chennai, I thank Dr. N. Shivashanmugam sir, Associate Professor, National Institute of Technology, for delivering a wonderful presentation on product development through WAM process. Sir, with various case studies and videos are discussed in detail about the product development. Once again, we will thank you, sir, for the excellent presentation. And
Natarajan sir, sorry. Natarajan sir, there is some issue in the connectivity. I left the meeting. No problem. Please, sir, please.
Oh, yes, sir. So once again, I will thank you, sir, for the excellent presentation and interactive session with the participants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. If there is any queries, please.
If you have any queries, please, you can ask. Even at the chat box, participant kindly fill out the feedback form without fail. Connect the feedback form. Participant can raise your question.
Because interactions are essential to me. If I'm
Yes,
making
sir.
any mistake, it will be sorted out as and when required.
Yes.
So
yes,
any doubt, anything.
Yes, Mr. Vijayanand, sir. Vijayanand, sir. Jayanti,
Good afternoon,
madam.
sir.
Yes,
Ah,
sir.
good
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
madam.
afternoon.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, please.
yes, sir.
It was a wonderful session, sir, on product development. But being
Yes.
a CSE person, I was not able to grasp the nitty-gritty of it.
Yes.
Okay.
But probably I'll have to spend more time explore the things what are being said by the speakers.
No, the thing is, what is the idea? See, especially in developing the coding, especially in analysis type, I have showcased one ANSYS video, no, the output of that simulation, that is of stresses, the temperature. Without your help, it is very difficult because nowadays Python script as well as the
Yes, sir.
Photon subroutines and Python scripts are playing a predominant role in simulating the actual scenario of the system. So you please work towards, if you have a very good touch with the mechanical engineer, please touch with the mechanical engineer and put your effort and share your expertise to them for simulating that problem like this. Because instead of going for a virtual simulation, if the simulation is highly helpful for product development, it is an hats off work.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Others.
Vijayanand,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir, we have a multidisciplinary project. We have a competition called Startup Surge.
Okay, sir.
So we are planning to conduct a team members maximum in 4 members from different branch of study. One mechanical
sir.
students or electronics communication, another students from IT or computer science, another students from chemical. The idea behind it, we want to develop a product in such a way. I understand sir also initially expressed the same thing. Computer science, IT, even information technology, communication students how can understand WAM. The latest technology, metal additive processing is a very important one. We are going for digitization with the help of coding. Now the machine learning takes major part. That's why that's why I invite sir from NIT to explore the idea of WAM to all our students. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes,
Anybody?
please. Any questions?
Please. Any questions?
Nothing, sir.
Associate
my
institution,
laboratory,
please kindly ask.
my laboratory is open to all. So I have a beautiful laboratory at NIT Trichy. If you go to my site, you can get all the information anytime. If you have anything you want to do some of additive manufacturing, no sir, I want to I am basically I student, I am basically a ECU student. I want to do something on program controller. I want to see the controller of the robot. Anytime you can see, you can come to the laboratory and you can see the thing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Oh, if there is no more queries from the participant side, shall I wind up the session, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, there's associate institution from our host institution, Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, IIC SVCE. Sir is inviting you for NIT Trichy. If you want to develop any product, particularly 3D printing or BAM, additive manufacturing side, you can ask our sir for betterment research area or anything. Please, this is the opening through IIC SVCE to all our associate institution. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I
Thank
once
you.
again
Thank
put
you,
my
sir.
Thank you,
thanks
sir.
to
Thank you,
Natarajan
Mr.
sir and
Subramanian,
Ilevel
sir.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Natarajan
Myself,
sir,
Jayanti
orientation
from
session.
Congo Art, sir.
Excellent,
Thank you,
madam.
madam.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Thank
madam.
you.
I request Natarajan sir to deliver the vote of thanks for the orientation session.
Yes, yes, Harish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Respected and our most chief guest and speaker of this expert lecture, Dr. N. Sivashanmugam sir, Associate Professor, National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli. Respected our Principal, Professor Dr. S. Ganesh Vaidyanathan. Respected our Vice Principal, Madam, and President of IAC SPC Chennai. Dr. S. Ilayvel sir, Manager, EPIC and Coordinator of this program. Respected principals, deans, heads of the department, presidents, conveners, department coordinators, faculty members of associated institutions, and my own institution, a very good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank our Ministry of Education Innovation Cell, AICT, and the Journal Officer for the sponsorship towards the conduct of the Mentor Mentee program Orientation 2. Thank you, Madam. I take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to our management, secretary, and our beloved principal, Dr. S. Ganesh Vaidyanathan, the dynamic and flexible person in all academic matters for deliver the uh, address. And gracing this occasion. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank our associated institution management, principal, IAC president, IAC convener, and the department IAC coordinators of Konkur College of Arts and Science, Erode, Hindustan College of Engineering Technology, Coimbatore, Konkunadu College of Engineering Technology, SMK Fobra Institute of Technology, and Adityanar Arts and Science College for the excellent cooperation and conduct this over a second orientation session. I take this opportunity to thank our Honorable Chief Guest and Speaker of the Expert Lecture 1, Srimati Sujaya Rao, Consultant, Trainer, Career and Startup Mentor, and currently co-founder and the Chief Operating of Future Edu for delivered the excellent lecture on IA generation and more interaction with on this theme with the participants. I would like to thank our Honorable Speaker, Dr. N. Sivashanmugam sir, NIT Associate Professor, NIT Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu, India, for the excellent lecture on product development through WAM process and the interaction on this theme with the participants. I would like to thank our Vice Principal, President of IAC SPC Chennai, Vice President and Coordinator of this organization, Deans, Heads of the Department, Department IAC Coordinators of my own institution for the support and guidance toward the conduct of this organization to successfully. Finally, the wonderful participants who have turned up in such a great numbers from our associated institution and also from my college. I'm sure that all the participants of this orientation will be benefited by the various lectures. We thank you so much for your kind cooperation. Thanks for coming. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll just leave the meeting.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Shall I stop recording, sir? Is it, sir? 11, sir?